That's crazy that you had that color shirt on though. That's
Yeah, ain't that crazy? We
yeah.
both looking crazy. Well,
Here the shirt is damn thing. I ain't been able to share it to the group.
I'll try to share it to the group.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Y'all tap in, man.
Yo. In the building. Pick us up. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we in the building. We in the building, man. It's been a long time.
Yes, sir. Your boy. Tapping in the building, man, you know. Hey. Let me share it in our opinion.
Yo. Okay. Yo, y'all tap in. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Bar none in the building. What's going on?
What's going on, boy, now? Good evening, boy, now. What's happening? In the building with us tonight on the In Our Opinion podcast, your boy Backdraft, the Magnesium, the Mayor in the building. Happy as ever with my boy Deesky the Great, hanging out, looking like a basketball.
Always got that red on.
Yeah, looking like a big red ball, man. It's wild. Yeah, man, it's wild.
I'm starting to. Yeah.
Hey, I ain't too far behind you though, bro. You
Hey,
know what I'm saying?
look, man.
Been a long time.
Hey, man. This is all that non-show action. You know what I'm saying? Sitting around, getting fat, full. You know, this winter weight.
Twin, what's up? Yeah, it's winter weight.
This winter weight, man.
Oh, okay. Well, I must gonna put on some summer weight.
No, it's time. But why? Hey, by the time, man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get down to 280 by May.
I'm at 280.
See,
I might be at 275 now because I kind of lost my appetite for about 3 months.
Yeah.
But
why you lose your appetite for 3 months?
Man, had some things. Had some things go down, man. And I just,
Hey, look, hey, Blue Bull, man. I'm sorry, bro. We ain't got no blue in the building. Maybe.
Hey, hold on, cuz. Let me tell you. Let me go. Okay, since he said blue, hold on, cuz. So let me get the situation straight. This ain't red. It may look red because I don't do red. It's burgundy.
That's red.
No, cuz
that is a form of red.
It's burgundy. And listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If I had a blue shirt, I have it on right now, Jack. Believe that. Believe that. I have it on
say
right
now, cuz. You know
what? I don't wear red. I damn sure ain't gonna wear all red. Now don't get me wrong. I wear. There we go. Oh, you tripping now? You trip? Okay.
Yeah.
I damn sure wouldn't wear all red.
Yeah.
Now, I wear some red.
Look, I don't bar. You know what I'm saying?
I don't do.
Look, just so we have some representation of blue over here, man.
Yeah, we gotta have some of it, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, cause it's all. I mean, I'm OG in the game now, so I don't really, you know what I'm saying. I ain't really just ripping it like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing that I go back and pick up. But
Hey, Yakeem, look, I'm telling you right now, you know what it is. You know what it is. I ain't even know. We ain't finna put that out there, man.
Say, man, listen. I'm telling you, you got a whole bunch of red over there. Over here, you got burgundy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't wear no. If I do wear red t-shirts, it's because it's got cap outside on that. Other than that, I don't do. That's too bloody for me, man.
Look, so this is the thing, right? So it's been a long time. It's been since January.
Yeah.
Since we did the show. And so we took a little hiatus, right? And I know, it might have been some people like, oh, well, they ain't doing the show no more, and blah, blah, blah. But man, I'll be honest, man, with everything that's been happening over the last, 4 months, man, like life has really been active. You know what I'm saying? I know you walked in the shop, you seen everything that's been going on, and I'm telling you,
Man.
it's been Wednesdays. We've been wanting to do the show, but I'll be
Mhm.
honest, man, I'll be so tired and wore out that you know what I'm saying. To sit down for two hours and say, hey man, look, I'm gonna do this, and that, man. I just ain't got the energy. So,
Well, I can piggyback on you with that, man. When what happened to me in January.
man, what happened to you in January, man?
Man, say man, I'm gonna go on and tell a story
Man,
now.
tell the world a story,
Since
bro.
I'm in good
Everybody want to
spirits,
know.
since I'm in good spirits, I'm gonna go and tell the story. So basically, man, it's at the blackout. Shouts out to DT Mob. Great job once again. Bought a shirt I ain't wore yet. 'Cause- anyway, brother from Block Abuse challenged me on the motorcycle. Okay, to race at the day party. So
Hold up, pause.
okay,
What was you doing before you accepted the challenge to race?
I was getting some bars put on my bike.
No.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You just see, as long as we was over there doing the sound competition, everything was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to be like, man, fuck the sound competition, man. Said, oh man, okay, boo, boo, boo,
You're
and I'm
right.
gonna go race.
You're right.
It's your
So,
fault.
so the crazy part about that is right before the sound competition. Yeah, you say you look like a pack of cherry Kool-Aid.
Drizzle, man, hey, raise up
Damn.
our
Oh yeah.
let me make it, man. Let me make it, man.
So
Hey.
so what happened was I put some 20-inch balls on the Road King an hour before. Okay.
Right.
Didn't test ride it. Dude challenged me. I went over there. I looked down. He had a 131. Of course, my Road King 114. So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm finna tear his ass up
You be
because
the 131.
hmm,
I seen you be the 131. I just didn't know it was 131.
it's 131. So, but this is what I said. I looked down and I said, you know what? He ain't gonna dump that 131. But I'm gonna dump this damn 114 because I know it. He gonna ride the clutch on that 131 because he don't want to go up in there. So they bam, bam, and whoop, and then shit. I hit it and I left him about 3 bikes out the gate. Got to the finish line. I'm up like this on my bike. I ain't test rode it, so I ain't really got to feel them balls. Got to the finish line, got my hand up here, got my hand on the brake right there, do the deuces of dog. I said, deuces, homeboy, and damn, press the damn brake a little bit. And when I pressed that damn brake a little bit with one hand on it, the whole bike went to the right, and bam, down goes Frazier. Now, I'm looking at the bike twist and turn in my helmet, and I'm like, fuck, I'm cussing, fuck. All the adrenaline run, I don't know what's wrong with me. So at that point, now I've come to the realization that nigga, I just went down. Nigga, I'm hurt. So people around me, I'm trying to take out my glove. I got a big old knot on my hand, and I got road rash from my hip all the way to my ankle and my toes. My
What
shoes,
about them brand new shoes you
the
just had?
brand new Cloud Techs look like Jesus flip flops. Okay,
Say, look, we can laugh about it now.
yeah.
When that nigga stood up and his toes did this,
Man, they look like Jesus flip flops. So then I went to the doctor, bro. They took me to I asked, did I win? I knew I won, but
yeah,
I was kind of out of it.
yeah, you
And
won.
so what happened was, man, went to the doctor. They took me to the
What's up,
hospital.
Winky?
What's up, Winky? They took me to the hospital and they did a CT scan. So what you can see is the wrist. So of course, long story short, I broke my wrist. Got two different plates in it. Had a cast from here all the way to here. And I had road rash on my butt, all over my back of my butt, from my hip to my ankle. And right now, I still have a hairline fracture in my hip.
Mm.
So, of course, they can't do nothing for hairline fractures, just got to heal. So, it's been healing too. But I still have problems sleeping on my right side right
Man, let me tell you, when I had an accident and I broke my tailbone,
now.
as they would say, a coccyx.
Coccyx.
Yeah, that's pain.
That's pain.
That's pain.
Because I'm going to tell you how it's pain. Because it's pain when you pee. It's pain when you boo boo, especially when you boo boo. When you're sitting down. I'm just keep real. And then you don't know how you move your tailbone in ordinary daily life. We don't think about that, right?
I mean, bro, like I would have never said anything about the boo boo. Right.
But you got, you know what the, I mean,
I mean, you know, but I mean, I get it.
I'm
But
just
I
saying.
mean, I would the more pain. I'm gonna tell you, I tried to sit down in the tub
Mm,
after the accident, bro. That was the worst shit ever. But
boy,
yeah, you're right.
the boo boo one. I'm gonna
It's
tell
you
you
know
something.
what? It's not the boo boo.
It's the strain, the pushing out.
It's the reach around.
Oh my God.
It's the reach around the clean.
Hey, but you know what though? I went through, I didn't hit my tailbone. But the thing about it, bro, for the month of the end of January all the way up to March, because of the road rash, which was the worst, I had to wear hoochie daddy shorts and flip flops the whole time. I couldn't wear nothing over this road rash, so I had on flip flops,
Draft.
hoochie
Did
daddy
Did
shorts.
you have a hard time going to the restaurant, bro?
Hell yeah.
So you put a depend on.
No, what I did was when first of all, you understand you got that antibiotic in you. You don't go to the restroom like that because it's all kind of stopped up. But to use the bathroom, the front part to pee, bro, it was hard. I had one hand,
Yeah.
so I had a big bucket that I had to every time. I just stood up, got up, and I couldn't stand up like I stand up now. It was a chore standing up. Stood up and got that big bucket, unscrewed it because it wasn't screwed tight, and put it up there and let it do its thing. But the thing about it, man, I think the worst part about this one hit different. I've been down before, but the worst part about this one that I knew in my heart, fighting the gremlins in your head,
Hmm.
I was that this was all my fault.
Right.
That's the worst part. Now, if I've been riding down the street and somebody hit me, God forbid, or I hit a pothole, something like that, God forbid,
Hmm.
that's different. But I didn't have to race. I was perfectly fine where I
Yeah,
was.
you was perfectly fine where you
Perfectly
was.
fine, and it was all my fault. And what happened was so dealing with that in your head, dealing with the fact that when they told me I was gonna have surgery, damn, I might not wake up. So I'm dealing with all this kind of stuff in my head, bro.
Hey, bro. Hey, and it's crazy. Okay, so uh
What's up, Callie?
the accident, right? So you had an accident. Well, I ended up having surgery on my knee.
Mm-hmm.
And so similar stories, right?
Yeah.
Like I was in a wheelchair. So you can imagine not being able to use your leg. You can use your legs. I couldn't,
Mm.
and plus I had the neuropathy in my feet.
Right.
So to stand up, to do anything, bro, I'm talking about walker, wheelchair, crutches for 6 months.
Woo.
You know what I mean? So I definitely understand your pain, right? But to have to use the restroom in the middle of the night,
Oh my God, it's the worst.
it's man,
It's the
say you
worst,
better
bro.
hope you hit that little bucket.
Bro, I can't tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many
What's up,
times.
Mark?
I can't tell you how many times that I just let it go. I'm just being honest with you, bro, because you can't help it at this age. Falling
Man,
off a bike at 51, bro. And then number two, the crazy part, and I thought the bike was done. I said, I was so far removed from that road, because I was like, oh man, that's done. Where I saw my clip up now, like, it's done. But it wasn't. That was at my house waiting on me to get on it when it got fixed. So I go in there, man. But the good thing about this is, it's two good things. Number one, I go to the doctor tomorrow.
hmm
That should be my last visit, and they'll tell me my bone is healed. Okay. The doctor said it takes 6 weeks for the bone to heal, 3 months to forget about it. You know what I'm saying? To go on about your day. The other thing, D, I'm gonna tell you, man, is that like we was talking offline a while ago, is that this one hit differently in a sense to where now when I look at people and I say it's good to see you, I really mean it.
right.
Hey man, it's good to see you, man. It's always good to talk to you, man, because at the end of the day, bro, it could have been way worse.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part is, bro, I told a doctor when they told me, I said, hey man, gonna wrap this up, man. Gonna wrap this up. I got something to do. I went back to the blackout. Flip flops, shorts, t-shirt, thanking everybody. Hey man, thank y'all for coming. But in that room by myself tonight, bro, was the worst night of my life. One of the
Mm.
worst nights because the ER. I don't know if you know about ER splints. First of all, I was right here, and then it went up, and instead of being right here where this one is, where I can move my finger,
Mm.
it was right there, and it was hitting them nerves, bro. And when I tell you, ain't
Nerve
no
pain is a whole different.
nerve pain is a whole different pain, and it's just funny because of the simple fact that um I was crying in that room like a little baby, bro. I
But
couldn't get
but why
comfortable.
but why use the term crying like a baby? Why couldn't you cry like a man?
Okay, crying like a man.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to feel bad for crying, bro. I done cried, right? Man, I'm talking about, bro, the pain is pain. I don't give a damn how old you are.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
if you in that much pain to that tears come, bro, you cry like a man,
Say,
bro.
man, when I tell you, then that not only that, it just compounded because it set me back. I didn't want to. So I was, so just like you've been busy, I had to deal with those things, just getting back to myself of being on the show because I knew I wasn't myself.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I didn't feel like myself. I had to ask myself, and then the road rash, bro. I took 2 layers of skin off. It literally went to the
The
white
white meat,
meat.
yeah,
That's why, and it's
yeah.
still healing now. And you know how you have road rage, that skin heals from the inside out. So the skin tightening up, your ankles
The
swollen,
itching,
it's itching, it's flaking. So that's pretty much my thing. But God is good. I'm here. I'm still kind of getting back into the swing of it. I did sneak and ride the other day to a blessing. I did all right, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But tomorrow's my day. Hopefully and prayerfully the doctor will tell me my bones completely healed. Then I just have to keep going to therapy.
right,
But boy, when I tell you, they ain't lying about you lose strength though.
right.
You lose that strength. Okay, Diamond just said you just 51. I don't know how to take that. Should I go in on Diamond?
Hey, man,
Diamond, what you mean? Am I just 51? Do I look older than 51? I just want to know because before I say what I'm gonna say next, I mean, I'm just saying, I just want to know. I just want to know what you meant.
you don't know how you need to take
Yeah,
that.
I didn't take that. I want to know what you meant before I say what I was gonna say next. But yeah, man. But it's good to be here, man. It's good to be on the podcast once again. Good to be in the midst of my homeboy, my partner, my brother. Hadn't seen him in a while. I mean, we have seen each other a couple in the past, really.
Yeah, on the
We've
cool.
been in passing on the cool, man, and it's good to see my boy. He doing good, y'all. I think got about 800 bikes. he,
It's a lot of work, man.
hey, that's a good thing,
Hey,
man.
hey, but you know what? I want to touch on something else real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when you said that when you tell somebody you happy to see them,
Mm-hmm.
you mean it, and I don't think people really understand what that means. And it's unfortunate that a lot of us have to go through quote unquote near death experiences to realize how precious life is,
Right.
or how valuable the people that come in and out of your life are. And for me, you know, people, damn man, why you always in a good mood? Because I'm alive.
Right.
When you wake up and you can breathe through your nose, bro, that's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing. That's huge,
That's huge, bro.
right? So in the morning when I wake up and I can breathe through my nose, man, and I don't give a damn if I'm in pain or whatever the case is, bro. I really have an appreciation for the things that come and go in and out of my life, man, because I understand, bro. This is it's short,
Mm-hmm.
and you may not know that you didn't wake up today, but I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, with that being said, man, look, take advantage of life. Don't take it for granted because you're not guaranteed. You're not promised. You know what I'm saying? We had somebody go down last night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And of course she's okay. But at the end of the day, man, that could have been. It was, man. We had almost 80 bikes last night.
Yeah,
That could
it
have been
was it
in
was
a
nice
number
last night.
bus. You know
For
what I'm
anybody,
saying?
yeah. And the thing about it is another thing is, man, I remember when we used to make jokes about 50 men old. Man, you're gonna be 50 years old, blah blah blah. Now we're at the age where our friends, including us, we're checking out of here
Mhm.
for various reasons. So we need to continue to pray for one another, continue to just lift everybody up, man. But it's been a good ride. Um, we had the whole thing planned out, man. We are gonna come back after the blackout, renew the show. But the thing, it was never gone. We just took a break. DSK got busy, and which is a good thing. He got busy in not only just bike stuff, but just being blessed. Uh, and I had to sit down for a minute. But other than that, man, we back and we in route form. We got a special guest tonight. He's on his way, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I think y'all gonna enjoy the guests.
Yeah, I think they're gonna come
So,
with y'all.
but before the guests get here,
We gotta get yeah.
you know what I'm saying? All I'm gonna tell you is this, man. I do want to touch on something that you and I talked about last week, right?
Okay.
And what we touched on and talked about last week was the fact that we are in a time where racism is starting to resurface
Yeah.
at an alarming rate. And it's due to social media allowing people to have a voice, um, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up, man, because I wanted to talk about what we talk about in black households.
Mhm.
We talk about black shit in black households,
Right.
right? Uh, we've all felt the white man got his foot on my neck. We've all had that conversation coming up, right? At 50 years old, I don't have those same type of conversations. But what I want a lot of people to understand is that we don't preach hate in our home. Now we preach, discomfort and against people that are lazy, that don't want the things that we want if we are in the process of achieving things. We have got to really figure out what's going on uh in this in our communities that's allowing these divisions to happen. And should the divisions happen, should we want to be separated? You know what I'm saying?
Well, honestly, man, I would say this, and everybody knows, just so we can get it straight. I'm not a Republican, but I'm a conservative, so it's different. So I think a little differently than my friends. However, I believe that integration hurt us.
Okay.
I believe that integration hurt us because it gave us a litmus test. It gave us a litmus test. It gave us a false narrative, a false litmus test. What I mean by that is it gave us a false narrative that, hey, if you want to be successful, this is how or who you need to be. When we had successes way back when.
Yes.
Look at how Rosewood was set up. Look at how the Greenwood District in Tulsa was set up. Look how Bowie, Oklahoma was set up. We had successes being on our own. But we weren't on our own. We didn't stop being on our own. The people got jealous and destroyed our shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that racism, it depends on what part of your life you're looking at that it plays a part. Like you just said, we are quick to embrace other races. If my daughter came home with uh, a guy from a different race, we ain't gonna say white, this guy from a different race, period.
Culture.
Culture. Let me say that. If they came,
Racism is the thing.
that's the thing.
Culture is the difference.
Culture is a difference. So if they came home, if my daughter came home with a guy from different culture, say for instance, she came home with uh
Asian.
Asian guy, where I am in my life and where my daughter is, where she has to live her life, if he makes her happy, and that's what it's about, I'm fine with it. But it ain't gonna be the same in their house though.
Mhm.
It's been proven time and time again. Now I'm not saying it may not be the immediate family, but it's somebody in their line that's gonna have a problem. So it's blacks are the most accepting culture. Blacks, we have the most accepting culture there is. And the crazy part about that is everybody wants the culture, but everybody don't want the color.
And you know what's so crazy is that we thrive in our culture, right?
What's
And
up, Thriller?
and we find the good, the bad, and the ugly in our culture,
Hmm.
right? But we don't sit around and be like, oh, their culture is this or their culture is that. You know what I'm saying? We have fun in our own little circumference. Now, I said all that to say this. Yes, I am not a proponent of violence in any culture, right? Like especially in my own. I don't want to see my own going up against each other and shit. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing we say, man, look, shit, I'm gonna send you to your maker. The reason why I wanted to bring this up, man, is because of the situation that's happening in Frisco. And I've seen more hate and disgust behind a young man, right, wrong, or indifferent, protected himself and chose violence. But man, they want to hang this little boy at the stake because it was a black kid killing a white kid. There was no hell when that white dude went in that church and killed all those people. Hell, they stopped and got him some fucking Jack in the Box on their way to the jail. The little boy didn't run. He threw the knife, but he didn't not take accountability for what he did. And I'm not here to justify what he did. I'm not here to say that what he did was right. All I'm saying is racism has already got this man hanging from a tree. And there's so many people that are really showing who the fuck they are based off of this story.
Well, I agree with that. My thing is, before I really got into the story, D, I just really wanted to get the facts. The facts of the matter. And I think what happened was, man, now that I got the facts, I see what's happening. You taking nothing away from Austin Metcalf and his family, nothing away, life lost and everything. But give my man the same thing you're giving him. He was a 3.8, 4.0 student. He was the captain of the football team. They also showing other videos of him resurfacing, being up on another tent, and he was cool with everything else. My thing is, but you want to, that's why I put on my post, bro. I put his regular picture up against his mug shot. There's always a narrative being pushed when it comes to us. You pushing this Halo thing with Austin, but with Carmelo, you pushing this
Evil.
evil thing. And we as a people, we gotta get past that. We gotta understand. And then the dude, like you said, accountability is a mother. He said they said, well, allegedly. He said it's not allegedly.
I did it.
I did it. And he said I was protecting myself. Now that we have the facts, we see that first of all, 9 times out of 10, the dude probably got jumped. Okay. Just basically just know what's going on now. So and then we know, and I was telling the guy that a blade 5.5 inches or above is a crime at school. I'd rather take that case than take this murder case. And my thing is, I'm glad that people are latching on to the Carmelo and they showing what's up, because at the end of the day, bro, we always tend to get a bad rap. We tend to get a bad rap when it comes to stuff like this. You should have never. Okay, I hear you saying you should have never put your hands on that dude. Now I put on one of my posts earlier. I said, man, these youngsters, and I still stick by that. I said these youngsters got to learn how to throw hands. But I don't know what happened before then. Now we know.
Right.
Now we know.
Right.
Now we know what happened before then. So now we know why the young man had a knife and everything. My thing is, but throw them hands, man. But now I'm not saying it was justified. But what we done, we ain't have two kids that one stabbed the other. Now it's a black kid stabbed a white kid.
Yes.
Then we got so much AI on the internet. This fake police department statement. I knew it was fake because in it says the white team, the black team. Police ain't gonna never say nothing like that when they make an official statement.
Right.
But my thing is, there's so much on the internet to where you have to sift out the truth.
Mhm.
I think, man, I remember a time when you went to school, the only thing you did worry about was fighting, bro. And that was normal on the
Yeah.
last day of
Yeah.
school.
Mhm. Yeah, I got jumped on a couple of times, man, and but I wasn't ready to go get a gun to shoot nobody, man.
No,
You know what I'm
no.
saying? And again, times were different back then. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta, and you could say, "Oh man, dude, a coward." You know what I'm saying for
Who?
pulling a knife, but I would say he was stupid for bringing a knife. Well, he wasn't thinking rational when he brought a knife. But my thing is, what did he know that we didn't know?
Exactly. And I can't, and I'm like you. I can't even I would never even call a young man a coward. You know what I'm saying? I've been in a situation before where I was being bullied. And I went home
And
and
what, run?
I got my daddy 44 Winchester. Didn't know it was on safety because I didn't know how to use it. But I took it back up to school and I said, we're gonna play basketball like we've been playing. If them guys come around and bully us, I'm gonna pull this gun out. And I did.
Let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Growing up, did you ever get bullied by white people?
No, never. But bullying, another thing is bullying is an ongoing thing. It's
Right.
not just a one instant
Well, I mean, and I'm just saying, like, we grew up. I grew up in Stop Six, man. We didn't have a lot of white people.
thing.
You know what I'm saying?
We ain't heard none.
But we didn't. But I didn't get picked on by people in other cultures. I got picked on by my own people,
Our own
right?
people, yeah.
And growing up, I never feared. I never had the same fears as maybe my, you know, my granny's, people my granny's age. so to
Right.
speak. You know what I mean? So I didn't grow up with the fear of white.
No.
I grew up with the fear of a motherfucker that looked like me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you have these types of situations going on, we have to understand that we're talking about two individuals that made a mistake.
Mhm.
The one that lost his life and the one that took a life. They made a mistake. Now, when it's the opposite way, you know what I mean? Let's just say that George Floyd and not George Floyd. What's the dude name in Florida?
George Zimmerman.
Zimmerman and Trayvon. You know, there was no justice, cry for justice, you know, from that particular culture. Oh, he was a thug, he had a hoodie on, and then next thing you know, any black person with a hoodie on was a violent criminal. And I'm not gonna say that the hoodie, not every person that wears a hoodie is a violent criminal because I sell hoodies and I know I'm not a violent criminal.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to understand that the cultural divide is just a cultural divide. It doesn't mean that we have to be separate. You know, I got, you know, people that really enjoy my conversation. I got, people of different cultures that would hit me up like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? There's a hell of a show you did, there's a hell of a live you did, because I'm always a positive person. Now if some shit jump off, man, you know what I'm saying? Like we can it's the we have to be politically correct when we speak. And they're able to say what the fuck they want to say because they feel like they're right.
I just hope with this situation, even though I really believe the dude is gonna get off. I believe if they get anything with him, it'll be for the knife at school. But I just hope that it does not affect him later on in life. Because you know, racism is undercover. Racism is deep under the covers. Say, for instance, a man is talented to go to a D1 school, and this haunts him. Ain't that the kid that killed that white boy in Frisco? Yeah, we don't want him because we've seen it before. We've seen it in the NFL. NFL. We've seen it okay, well, we've seen it in the yep, prime example, Ray Lewis. Did he stab somebody?
Ray Caruth.
Nah, Ray Caruth wanted to kill the girl with his baby.
Yeah. But
Ray
Ray
Lewis,
Lewis was there though. We
no.
It was two different stories.
True story. Ray Carew came way before Ray Lewis. But Ray Lewis was, yeah, he happened to be there, but they were trying to pin everything on
Right,
him.
right.
My thing is, man, I just hope that this does not impact this guy in a negative way in life. So it's funny that it's amazing because of the simple fact that it's touch and go, man, because I don't want to be in a situation where I feel like I have no remorse for Austin. But at the same time, I don't want to be in a situation where I feel like I don't have any support for Carmelo. Um, it's amazing because they had a GoFundMe. I'm just saying for Austin. I mean, that joke was down up to damn $500,000.
Yeah.
You know, so somebody decided to start a GoFundMe for Carmelo, which they said their family didn't do it. But my thing is, then I was told they said, "Hey, you mayor, get what we gonna do? We gonna rally? We gonna do this?" I was like, "Hey, man, I don't have a problem with helping to do anything, but I need to get all the facts." Now the kid, okay, I think he made some stupid decisions. He threw the knife. Should have kept the knife. 'Cause if I pop somebody, I'm gonna stay right there to the police call because I'm gonna feel like I'm
Hmm.
justified. So he threw the knife, but he owned it, man. I mean, what more can you say? Um, Racism. You got a point, and Winky had a point here. She says, "I think we didn't get bullied by them because if they lived near us, we were on the same level." That's profound. Then she said, "Now the new age has been raised different, and they feel inferior again." Do they really feel inferior? You think?
You know what? You know what we done?
What's that?
We started making money and we started moving to where they are, right? They
Oof.
never changed who they were.
No.
We changed the location.
Which is why I say integration hurt us. Because, bro, and I know it sounds crazy, man. I know it sounds far fetched. There's a town called Lobo, Texas, bro. It's got 5 buildings on it, roads, a hotel, a motel. Needs some fixing up. But it's for sale for $3.7 million, man. A town. So just think if you had a town, say name it Deeskyville. You had 20 people to settle in the town. That's what they did. So you're right in a sense. We found ourselves moving to where they are, which gives us that litmus test. That's what I'm talking about, that false test. We got, in order for us to feel like we're successful or be successful, we gotta be up here. So let me say, oh man, like I used to say back in the day, yeah, back Joe, what you said, oh, I stay in North Dallas. I used to love saying it, bro. Because in my mind, if I stayed in North Dallas, I was out on the horse. Little did I know, nigga, I was technically North Oak Cliff because it was Forest and Ardelia. I don't know damn North Dallas. I did not stay on Preston,
You
nigga.
went far north.
I went far north.
You went far
I
north
went
of
far
north.
north. I went far north. I didn't stay on Preston. I didn't stay on Inwood. So I thought I was doing good because I had an apartment in North Dallas, and I felt like, so it's a feeling. So you're right in what you said, but I just feel like that's what creates the litmus test. You got people that live in Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
You got people that live north of the Trinity that look crazy. People that live south of the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
I always say this, man. I said this in one of our earlier shows a couple of years ago, a year ago. There's a different kind of black person up that way, and not only not in what they say, but in their actions. If you say I live in Lancaster, and I meet somebody and say, "Oh, I live in Plano," some of them actually think that they're better than you.
So I'll say this: you and I walk into an establishment.
Hmm.
Your educational level, you could have a college, a doctorate, right?
Right.
I'm just a high school dropout. But when we walk into an establishment, we are the same person.
Hmm.
And that's the thing when we move into these areas that are predominant, but we've made the money. So because we've made the money, we don't want to be there because if we making the money, then we're going to look at you like you better than us.
Hmm.
But when you go to them, they think they better than you.
Yeah.
And we live in this vicious cycle of trying to say that we are equal. And at the end of the day, equality only exists within you.
Yeah, I believe that, and I agree with that. But I also think that, do you? Let me ask you something.
Hmm.
Do you feel like some people you're better than black people?
No, absolutely not. And I don't even walk around like matter of fact, when Callie came on, he said two legends,
Yep.
right? What makes me a legend? What makes you a legend? Right? It's how he sees us.
Hmm.
So if my bike looks better than yours, but we can go the same places,
Hmm.
what makes me think that I'm better than you?
And backing up and piggybacking on what Kelly said, he says two legends, and your bike does look better than mine. Just to be honest with you, Megalodon, the old bike. I'm just Yeah, the old bike. So your bike, but it's crazy because whether your bike look the way it look and my bike look the way it look, this guy's still saying two legends. See what I'm saying? It's kind of like two kids playing together, bro. It's kind of like two kids playing together. They can black hand, white hand. When two kids playing together, what do they see? Well, my hand is bigger. They don't see black and white. So all this stuff is learned, which lets me go, which takes me back to the fact that racism, integration sparked racism more than what it was. If you think about it, think about the slavery days. What if they would just set the slaves free? They say, y'all free, y'all go. Where you gonna go? What you gonna do? This is what you know. This is what you know. So at the end of the day, it's like, man, do I think I'm better than people sometimes? Culturally, I mean, intellectually, yeah. Now, as far as a
I
human,
am, Mike.
no. As far as a human, no. But intellectually, I may be better. Intellectually, they may be better than me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like my daughter sings. Okay, that's my speed. She got the singing from me, but she's better than me.
So I can say you're a better singer than I am, right?
I ain't from no damn Stop Six.
I am.
He from Stop Six.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Stop Six don't even know how to call it Stop Six.
Is that a challenge?
No, 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 not you.
Okay.
Not you.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so but nonetheless, the conversations that we have is what makes us different.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we talk about, our interest is what makes us different. We get into this because I have a certain amount of money in my account that makes me different. When if that was the case, why am I at all the bike events? Why am I, because I'm better than everybody. I got the best bike on the set. I got the this and I got the that. Why do I continue to deal with these peasants?
But it took you a while to get there, and I'm gonna tell you why I said it. I'm telling you from
It
experience.
took me a while to get where? You think I
No,
did
no,
hang around
it
people
took
because
you a while to get to where people saw you on a regular level like that, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Because when you would come around, I'm gonna go all the way back to Temptation. When you had your Road King. Hell, in my mind, I'm like, "Nigga, that's these. I didn't even know you good then. That's. I'm like, that's that dude. Yeah. Yeah, that thing right there. Yeah. I'm like, that's that dude. So I thought you were better. I ain't gonna lie to you. You came around down with Megalodon. I thought you were better. In my mind, so we got out the way because we thought you were better. But then when you said, hey man, with so many words, I'm for the set. And so many words, when I come out to have a good time. So it was your actions that proved to us that nah, he don't think he know better than none of us. But they don't act like that.
right?
That's all I'm saying. They don't act like that. Winky said, why am I at bike events and I don't even have a bike?
Because you winky.
What's up, Shan? But the thing about it is, I just feel like going back to this boy, man. I said it on one of my posts. I said, either way, I'm praying for him because he'll be drugged through the mud. And that's what they're doing. People didn't understand what I meant when I said that. It doesn't matter if he's innocent or not. This boy's being drugged through the mud when he basically done what any little kid would have done, bro. I can almost guarantee you that when you're trying to protect yourself, you aiming. Because people they trying to just make like, why he just didn't cut him on the arm? Why he just didn't cut him? Because shit.
And hold up. First off, how? So it was just I put my hands on you and I stab you in the chest and run.
I don't think it was like that at all. Bro, let me tell you something. If I got a twin brother, whenever I fight, he gonna fight. I don't give a damn. I could be, oh, if you see me throwing these balls, my twin finna throw them balls with me, boy. And my homeboy finna throw them balls with me, bro. That's all I'm saying. So we don't know because we wasn't there. But one thing about it, my mom used to always say that I never understood. It'll all come out in
In
the
the wash.
wash. And if it don't come out in the wash, it'll come out in the rinse. I'm really waiting on because he's going to court. Okay. I'm sure they're going to court. But I just want the young man to have a great attorney. And I know Lee Merritt's supposed to be involved in it. Benjamin Crump's supposed to be involved in it. But those are civil rights lawyers. Those are not defense lawyers.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's a way. Going away from the criminal side of it
To the civil side.
to the civil side of it, man.
Now you need some criminal defense attorneys, bro.
And again, I didn't want to bring this up because I feel like I want to defend a black person. I brought this up because I want us to understand that these people are fucking racist and they are showing their true colors. Now, I don't get into this race baiting and shit. I don't, if I see somebody make a post, I don't engage in all that old type of shit. But I do have a platform and I want to talk about it. I want to discuss it, right? Like because we are not those people. And I know if you look at some of those videos that they're playing of this little dude, bro, he ain't fucked up behind no white people this and that.
No.
They man, he's a jockey in the sports. I mean, dude got colleges looking at him, for whatever reason. And in the blink of an eye, his life changed.
Yes, and that's the part I hate for him. That is the part I hate for him because in the blink of an eye, all those colleges, bro, I had knee surgery. I tore my ACL in high school playing football. Had a lot of colleges looking at me, but the moment I told my ACL, all that shit stopped. But with the exception of two. But it stopped. So imagine you're a kid and you just murdered a boy, and then I ain't gonna say murder. Let me say let's not say it. 'Cause when we say murder, that makes it
That's
sound
intent.
that's intent. Let's not say murder. Let me say you're a kid and you're protecting yourself and the boy died. Okay, so I know stuff is gonna stop. Now people are like, well, they'll probably drop it from murder to involuntary manslaughter. No, if it was truly self defense, it don't need to be nothing. So that's what I was saying. One thing about self defense is hard to prove, bro. If it's not cut and dry, if it's not cut and dry, it's hard to prove. The burden of proof is on Carmelo because he's going to prove he's defending himself. The burden of proof is not on the guy that he was bullying him because he did. So it's like I don't know,
What
man.
about the other people that was under the tent?
Those are going to be the witnesses.
That's what I'm saying. Why aren't any of those accounts being displayed?
They'll be in display. I saw something on Facebook. They were showing where the kids are talking, and they was showing how they said this is the only one thing that Austin had broken his phone the week before or something like that.
And see, and they went to talking about that it just happened, like it happened that day at the meet
Yeah,
where he snatched his phone and threw it on the ground and broke it.
yeah. And my thing is, first of all, but ain't nobody talking about you have not having a right to tell anybody to get out of the tent. See what I'm saying? You can't make that boy leave that tent. But ain't nobody talking about that. And then the dude said, you got to know when a man says to you, put your hands on me and see what happens. If a man says that to me, put your hands on me and see what happens. When I do, if I decide to put my
F
hands, I'm gonna
F
keep
A
my hands
F A F A F O.
FAFO. And that's basically what he was saying. So the dude, what the dude do? You showing out. Let's just be real. Let's just call it what it is, people. You showing out and you put your hands in his bust, cut your ass up. I mean, that's just what he was.
It was unfortunate that you died from your injuries, right? And
What's up, Bree?
again, we're not justifying. We're not saying that he had the right to
Right.
have a knife on campus. So let's just get that understood. But we have to have discretions. Like we have to have what's the word I'm looking for when we have to say, well, this is not what we're saying, but we're just reporting the facts. Um, what's the word I'm looking for, man? Um,
Hmm. I don't know. I could say this though. I could say I don't agree with what Carmelo do, but like in the words of Chris Rock,
mhm.
I don't agree with it, but I understand. I completely understand. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they would never want to pick me for a jury. Because I wouldn't be wanting to hear shit they got to say, bro. I'm just being honest with you. I'd be like innocent. I'm just being real.
Disclaimer is the word I was looking for.
Disclaimer. Okay, I'm gonna be like not guilty. Let me just say it. Well, Andre, not guilty, bro. Not guilty. And I mean because I mean that boy owned that. That boy didn't
Good evening,
run.
Bree.
That boy owned that. He said I did it. Then he said I was protecting myself. At this point, I believe him. I believe him.
So let's say this, right?
What if the black boy would get killed by the white boy? Do you think it'll be some? I did it. I was protecting myself. This would be shit. This should be open and closed. We wouldn't be talking about this right now.
He'd be at home eating cotton candy and at the mall
And under the
stopping
same
for street.
motherfucking tent the next week. So we wouldn't even be talking about this right now, man. So race, man, and I hate it, but it plays a part, bro. If this was two white boys, this wouldn't even be news today. If it was two black boys, it wouldn't even be news today. Somebody got killed. A black boy got killed by another black boy today. Somewhere. Okay? It wouldn't even be news today, but because it was this black kid that was just as smart, or even smarter, just as popular,
hmm
just as intuitive as you,
Just just as athletic,
and just as athletic, and now it's a big thing.
and it's unfortunate, But these are the conversations that we have to have. These are the tough conversations that we have to have. And we got to reach out to the youth. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The one, I mean, you got a daughter in school. So this can more hit home for you because this could have happened at her school.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it is like, it's tough, man, because this is a young man that has promise. This is a young man that has a future. I just don't want this, whether he's proven innocent or not, to sabotage his future. And as long as the upper hand is controlled by the upper echelon, it's gonna sabotage his future. That's just what it is. You know, they talk about the cancel culture. You know what I'm saying? The council, like they tried to do Jonathan Majors. You know what I'm saying? Like they tried to do Kanye, and he got billions, right? They counseled him. So I'm just saying, I hate it for this man, but the race thing, I just believe integration hurt us. We are strong enough people to where we can survive on our own. We've done it for ages.
So why can't we resort back to that?
You know, in my mind, because inferiority is so interwoven, you know what I'm saying, in our culture, man.
Mhm.
It's so interwoven in our culture to where it's going to be hard because everybody want to be the leader.
Okay, let's go let flow in.
Okay, excuse me.
You can just go to the front door. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Our guest just showed up. We're gonna get him mic'd up and we're gonna have us a good time. But yeah, man, like I said, this is not to say that, we feel a certain kind of way about anyone or any other culture, but to say that we have a responsibility as a culture of people to not turn our backs on each other.
You gonna stand right here at the door for glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. So my thing is, it's like it's so deeply interwoven in our culture to where we as a people, everybody want to be the leader. You can even say in the motorcycle club, DT man, hey man, can y'all put this together? No, we can't put it together, but we'll show help.
Right.
We don't want to lead it.
Right.
I want to be in a situation where I just want to be a part of it. I ain't got to be the leader.
Right.
So that's what we're saying about racism. But so I guess cuss words out the way. Uh, oh, I got a couple more. Goddamn shit, asshole. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Ain't saying that. No.
All right. So they call me the mayor. This guy we got on the show for the first time. Our first guest of the year is one of the most influential guys on the DFW set and abroad. An ombudsman. See, I learned that word from him too. He's an ombudsman in the community. You know him from community, also from Winwood Fellowship Church, the Empowerment Center, 2200 North Zane. South Zane. Hey man, y'all make some noise for our homeboy, our brother. It is such a privilege and a pleasure to have him here. Pastor Flo, Johnny Flowers, aka Pastor Flo. Come on in, man. You good?
What's going on, Playboy?
Look at you, man. Look at you.
There you go, man. Got your mic.
Oh boy, so I done made it to the big time. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, it's a lot of meat on this couch.
Hey, man, I'm over here. Look, I'm over here with these bosses. Let the church say amen.
Man, it's happy. It's a pleasure to have you on, Pastor, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's one to get him on from me because I talk to you all the time. But to actually get you on the podcast, man, with my boy here, you know, two of my favorite people, it's something.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you though, Backdraft, the magnesium, and these y'all know I had to think hard, pray hard about coming.
Yeah, I know, man. You know, so this is the whole thing. I asked Flo probably about maybe it's been about 2 months.
Yeah.
I said, Flo, I want you to come on the show, man. Draft, he's under the weather, man, and I want to kind of keep the momentum going. And Flo said, man, you know what? Just give me some time, man, because you had a lot going on. You know, I want everybody to understand that Flo had a lot going on, and so it was one of those things where I had to. it was hard to tell Flo it ain't that kind of show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can control myself.
Right
You know what I'm
on,
saying?
right.
But Flo been drug into some of these podcasts
Man,
on the blind side.
Really?
Oh man,
Look, man.
say. So I just want you to know, man. I got a lot of respect for you and your position in this
Yes, sir.
community,
Yes,
and
sir.
I would never set you up like
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate that. You know, one thing about it, man, is like this: is the Bible clearly says, "Don't let your good be evil spoken of."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Dr. King said it like this: the measure of a man is not where he stands, but where he stands in the midst of opposition.
Right.
So in the midst of everything that we go through, we still got to stand 10 and stand upright.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so one of the things that I know with you two cats, my two brothers from another mother, I know y'all are solid.
Right.
You know, and because y'all are solid, you know what I'm saying? If I'm going to take one for the team, I'm going to take one for the team to get down for me, and we get down for each other.
Well, I can tell you this, man. It ain't gonna be, it ain't gonna be that type of show tonight. But I gotta say this, man. This guy is the only guy I know, and it's like he told me something last week. He said, "Iron sharpens iron."
That's right.
And this guy is the only guy I know, and you're gonna agree with this, that can call anybody in the community to the table, and they gonna come.
They're gonna pull up.
I don't care if they're the biggest outlaw
Amen.
or the coolest 99. This is the only guy on the set that I know that can call them to the table, and they'll say they're gonna be mad and say, "All right, we come."
Texas legend.
What? Yeah. So let me ask you.
Texas legend. So Cali, I need you to go and retype all this. You said we had 2 legends on the count, but we got a Texas legend.
So my question to you, so we're gonna jump right to it, man. Why do you think? Now let's be real. You're Soul Riders
Okay.
founder. Why do you think, or co-founder, whatever you want to say? Why do you think it is that can happen? Let's just be real, because it's not happening.
Okay.
What in your mind did you ever think, being former your military,
Okay.
ombudsman in your community, pastor at the church,
Okay.
you're a biker,
Okay.
you're all these things, but did you ever think that you would play that particular part in this community?
You know, to be perfectly honest, you know, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, a lot of people might not believe this, but a guy, I went to a revival, because, you know, back then your mama made you go to church.
Right.
And a man pulled me out of the room, he pointed me out, and he said, "Hey, you're going to be somebody." And he said, "You're going to have a lot of influence on a lot of people one day." And then I'm waiting on the other part to come through. He said, "You're going to have a lot of money." I'm waiting on that.
Right.
You know, it's still in the works.
Yeah.
But he told me that, he spoke that over my life, but never in a million years did I ever think that I would be able to survive combat Dhahran, Riyadh, Kuwait, Bahrain, St. Augustine, Africa, Suwon, Korea, and then go to Frankfurt, Germany, and see the world, and then being who I was in my prior life, which I'm not even going to go into all that. But, you know, God, He allows us. You know, I tell people, yes, I got a doctorate in divinity. I got a master's in community development. But the degree that I'm most proud of is my PhD in the streets. And so when you have that, where people respect you not because of what they heard, but what they see you, the measure of your character, your content, you know, then it just kind of falls into place. And so being where God done brought me through, being a part of some wonderful organizations, being around some wonderful people, you know, whom He called, He qualified.
Right.
And whom He qualified, He equipped. So back to the question, did I ever think I would be here? Yes and no. Because when I was a child, I thought as a child, I did as a child. But when I became a man, I put away my childish ways. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a child, in my childlike mindset, you know what I'm saying, I always thought that I was going to be that dude.
Right.
But I never was influenced by the Batman and Robins, the Supermans, and all of those cartoon characters. I was always impressed with the ghetto superstar.
Right.
You know, hey, put me in, coach. I want to be that guy.
Right.
You know, I want to be the one with the nice cars. You know, and had all the street creds. You know what I mean? And so when God takes you through different patterns in your life, and I encourage people, where you are now is not where you're going to always be. You know, I'm going to let that sit in for a second. For the slow who might not know. where you are now is not where you're going to always be. So you might be even in a wilderness experience in your life because we all done been there. And even when I was in some wilderness experiences, I never did think I was going to come out and be where I am now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it seemed like it's gonna take
Because it
forever.
seemed like it's
But we
going
live
to
in the now.
We live in the now. You know, but when we stay the course, you know, and then, you know, go back to, well, the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but it's given to the one who endures to the end. When we endure those challenges, I mean, you guys are business owners. You know that every day it's not going to be $1,000 a day.
Man.
You know, some days your money is funny and your change is strange.
Man, that's it.
But you got to know.
I suppose you just gave me a little bit of depression.
Look, Doc, it's okay.
This is a reality sunk in when you say
The
it.
reality sets in because, but see, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because why?
Yes.
Whom he called, he qualified. Whom he qualified, he equipped. Where God sent vision, he sent the provision. So you already know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have them slow days feeling so broke you want to choke. But at the end of the day, he always got a ram in the bush.
And man, I'm gonna tell you something, Flo. And you said that, and it resonates, man, because every day, and this is the thing that I want anybody that lays in the bed and think that it's gonna knock on their door. Faith without works is dead.
Say it loud.
So if you're not gonna do the work, you can't expect to be better.
That's right.
You can't expect to do. You can't expect to get that phone call.
Man, you didn't said it. And just suddenly, I preached a message at a Bible blessing. And the message was, why do we do what we do when we do it? You know, why do we do what we do when we do it? At the end of the day, you make that sacrifice because you know that this too is going to pass. You make the sacrifice because, you know what I'm saying, like you just quoted, faith without works is dead. You already know that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have some dry time. But in those dry times, that's one of my life scriptures is, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, but I don't fear no evil, because thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, it comforts me. Thou prepare a table before me, even in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil and make my cup runneth over. The part I want to focus on is, even though, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That means I'm not stuck there. I'm coming out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we get in that place where, you know, we get stuck and we supposed to be passing through, but we want to pop a tent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We want to build a fire. We want to get comfortable in our foolishness. You know,
golden calf.
yeah, we want to build a golden calf. You know, the whole nine. You act like you know your power.
Hallelujah.
It was all of that. When the whole time we just coming through it, this too shall pass. You know what I'm saying? Just like Backdraft. You know, here it is. He had that surgery on his arm, and I know he was like, boy, look at here. It was eating his lunch.
Yes.
To be laying there and can't move, can't get on that iron, and you know DT Mob, you know they got their Saturday rides, and they gonna hit everybody's joint. You know what I'm saying? They gonna stunt, they gonna pull up, they gonna pop it, they gonna support, and then here he is. He got he got to sit in the garage.
Yes. And look.
And smoke a stick. I was praying for him the whole time.
The thing about it, man, is just funny because I was telling DC that a while ago. I was like, man, it was tough on your boy. Mine was so much mental. But even when DC said she was coming on the show, I was like, oh, that's cool because it ain't no faking.
Nah.
Okay, when you and the reason why I say, because see, one thing I could tell is a Jack Green. When you see you out and you've been consistent, I've been in DT Mob. I was 13 years. I've been on set for 15. Every time I've seen you, your actions are consistent.
Amen.
If you got some in your hand, I can almost guarantee you some more.
Amen.
Almost. Now you hold it like Crown Apple.
Yeah.
It's water. You got a couple man. It's holding water in that glass.
Hey, Doc. Hey, I
but when you holding it, but you have water, but you still able to still fit in as a biker. People still regard you. They know you're a pastor. They know you all this. They know you all that, but they also know that you're a biker. Right. So they still see you as a biker, and it's weird. How do you? Because you're a celebrity. You're a local celebrity here. Now you told me that too. And you remember we had that talk about the mayor situation. I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I said that. That's a
I said, I didn't give myself that name. I said, I don't like that, man. But you are. So how do you view that? Because okay, we're gonna keep it 100.
Okay, keep one on.
As a local celebrity, I know that DM be lit up sometimes.
Uh-huh.
How do you handle that? Now I'm gonna listen to you. We've had now mind you, when I say this cat is my mentor, I mean my mentor. We done had talk.
Yeah, real talk.
Okay, real talk. How do you handle that? How did you deal? How do you deal with that?
Well, it's real simple. Simple but yet complicated, because we have to be in that place to where, number one, first and foremost. Okay, let me back up. Before I answer that question, I said to the people on Sunday, I said, if we're going to have a good riding season, it's a few things that we have to do. If we're going to have a good riding season this season, so one of the things that you have to do is, number one, ride your ride. Can't ride DT Mob's ride.
Right.
Can't ride DC's ride, but ride your ride. And the second thing is mind your business. Stay out of other people's matters.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then when you start looking at that, and then when you start looking at, okay, so what? Somebody smile at you. Somebody jumped in your DM. So what? You better count up the cost. So that third thing was take care of your business. You better count up the cost. Because, see, one of the things that I do know and understand, the enemy is the master of trickery and deception. Trickery and deception. In business and outside of business. You know what I'm saying? And these, when you start talking about business, you know, they'll come and wave a carrot at you. You know, some of them vendors that came to you, and they done promised you pink stars and purple clovers and yellow hearts.
And blue diamonds.
And blue diamonds. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. But see, there it is. It's that trickology. Once they get you to sign on the dotted line, then they manipulate the situation for their benefit. So when people, as a pastor, somebody who's going to stand on business, I've been out here 30 years, and in these 30 years, I've always try to make sure that I always hear my mom in my ear gate saying, don't let your good be evil spoken of.
Right.
So just because somebody bring it to you on a platter, don't mean you got to take it.
You know what? And I would say this for me. It's about the respect that you have for yourself.
Exactly.
Because we can have a moment of lapse, right? With anything and anybody. We all have this innate ability to fall short. But for me,
everything's good.
But for me, it's like, okay, I have enough respect for myself to be not put in those types of situations, right? Because it's easy. You know, if I'm a figurehead, you know what I mean? If I'm a figurehead, then we all have this ability to make it do what it do, right?
But okay, even with you, D, even with me, even with you, even with Pastor Flo, it's like you just heard the man say, Khaled say 2 legends. You really, so I ain't never regarded myself as a legend. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you a question. So Khaled got on here, we got on the show. He said 2 legends. Okay, have you ever regarded yourself as a legend?
Absolutely not. No. Because one of the things that another part of me, I mean,
you good.
Another thing that I try not to do is, oh boy, he getting loose, y'all. He getting loose. One of the things that you can't become is self-centered,
right,
egotistical, prideful, or puffed up. That's when the demise comes.
Right.
You gotta stay humble. You know what I'm saying? At whatever cost, no matter how many people give you accolades, no matter how many people. Unity in the community, we had 21 people registered, 2,100 people registered that we served. And Diska, you've been at every one of the unity in the communities for the last, I don't know how many. You know what I'm saying?
At least 10.
From the beginning. No, it's been longer than 10 from the beginning.
No, I'm talking about 2010.
Yeah. So, you know, but we got to stay humble.
It wasn't even trying to be on what that was. Right. I just heard about it, and I had a saddle suit.
But the crazy part about it, that's how I met you. Yakima just said, Not pastor taking the phone call. Yeah, he ain't just a pastor. Okay,
He's a businessman
a
too.
businessman. He's an entrepreneur.
And tell them who they
And
was
that
on
Papa
the
was
said,
call.
"Hey, help us with Paul."
that was a long company call. You got to handle that, Jack.
Yeah.
That's why I told you I go handle that. You know, but that it shows you in the community, which is something I ain't gonna lie to you. I look forward to every year,
Amen.
man.
Amen.
That's where I met this dude. I was like, who is this dude on his red?
I have so many of those stories.
Yeah.
From Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's it. See, that's a legend. You know what I'm saying?
The legend. I was like,
Yeah.
who is this dude in his red and white bike? Because it's red and white.
OG,
Yeah.
OG Santa.
No, it was black.
Yeah.
The first one was black.
The first
With the red,
Yeah.
black,
When I
With the
came with
red
red and
spoke.
white.
That's red, white.
He's
Yeah.
a straight gangster with the gold D, with the red D's on the jack.
I said, who is this dude, man? And that's when I met him. It was funny because when I met you, I was like, man, this cat cool. First of all, I used a Mason, so you already know. But I was like, this cat cool. And then once you told me, I forgot what I came to your house for. I knew then that I was all right. And I'm gonna tell you why. You don't let nobody in space, Jack. That's your space. And you know it's bikers, we only go as far as the garage.
Right, right.
I ain't got no reason to be in your house as a biker. We in the garage, we chilling.
Yeah.
So when I came to your house and I was like,
All over my house.
I was all over the house. And I was like, oh man, this is I regard, like I said, man, you my mentor, man. But my thing is, you just answered my question. But you said count up the cost. There have been several times in my life I've had what my mama called faultless.
Yeah.
Well, you pay a price.
That's right.
In my marriage, you know, just cause we keep it real over here. In my marriage, you know, my smallest daughter, you know what I'm saying? You know about all that.
Yeah.
You know about all that. Okay, and then, you know, so like I told him, and I told you this, Pastor, I said this accident, this last one, it hit different. Because number one, falling off a bike at 51 ain't fun. Number two, I saw my life like, and then and I told you this, the hardest thing I had to deal with was knowing in my head, and I was trying to mull over the fact that it's all my fault. I could have totally prevented this. People blame stuff on. I'm going to say something I want you to expound on.
Okay.
Do you believe, okay, I always say this, people blame stuff on God and the devil, but sometimes it ain't God and the devil, it's you.
Yes, you.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because you find people who
It says echoing.
I got it.
God, He'll allow something to happen. He didn't cause it, but He allowed it to happen. You know what I'm saying? God will let you, He's a gentleman. He'll let you do it till you're satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And He'll let you do it until you're satisfied, and then He'll allow it to happen to draw you back to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Because when you had that accident, you had a vesper moment, a time of reflection. It was a time of reflection. It was a time of refocus. It was a time, wait a minute, man, I could have been out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of them coming to visit me at the hospital, they could have been planning a funeral. You know, and then everything, the cost pops up. Okay, man, this could have been a whole burden, not only, you know, from the set perspective, but from a family perspective, how it would have impacted them. So God allows us. He's a gentleman. He gives us free will, and on that free will, he lets you do whatever it is you want to do. There's no cost associated.
Well, I'm glad you said that because people, this happened to me because it's God's will. No, it happened to you because you didn't hear him and you didn't listen.
And
you know, that's just my thought. I don't know.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and it may not necessarily be for that person because he done something bad. Just because a person is going through a dry season, don't mean they done messed up. He could be going through that dry season because and over in Ephesians it says there's a time and a place for everything. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you go through it because God's trying to draw you closer. You're going through it because He wants something. He got something better in store for you. You're going through it because God want to let you know that everybody ain't your friend, everybody ain't your partner.
That's right.
You know, and sometimes you got to recognize that. And once a person show you who they are, better believe it.
Better believe
You
it.
said that Sunday.
I said it Sunday.
And the thing about it is like with D, I remember I told D because when we first started this thing, man, a year and a half ago,
Bro, it's been 2 years.
it's been 2 years. I said, man, I ain't got that much time, man. I'll be on here every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
It's been 2 years.
But then it became a part of my life, and it's like so. Then and it cultivated our friendship, you know, because I was like, man, I'm just checking on you. What's up, dude? You know, so I went calling to see what you got for sale.
Right.
I went calling and the crazy part about I respect his business because I don't never come for no hookup.
You know, let me tell you how that shit how this really went down.
Oh, here we go.
The Negro is nosy. Let's just talk about how it really went down. The Negro was nosy. He was nosy, and he didn't want to leave.
What you talking about, bro?
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, hold on. Okay. We got a thousand. Y'all. Yeah, it's gonna get this yeah. So I'm on the phone because I couldn't get my bike radio working, so I FaceTimed him. We was okay. We was cool. We wasn't like we are now.
He was potentially a customer. He had purchased some things from him. So
Yeah.
because he spent a little money, he felt like he deserved a little bit more time.
Right.
After hours.
Okay, yeah. So I called him after the hour. It was about 12 o'clock.
Oh boy. 11:30.
So I called him.
11:30 at night.
So I'm on FaceTime with this young man. And next thing you know, a chick come over. It was a chick already over. Next thing you know, another chick come over.
Oh no.
So he's holding the phone. He's going back and forth. Asked me, did I hang up? I sat there and listened.
It's nosy.
Yeah, this is getting good.
Get good. I wonder how you gonna get out of this. So of course I called him back the next day. I said, man, you all right? What happened, man? He said, oh yeah, I'm all right, man. I handled that. You know, with some more choice words. Yeah. So that's how we became tight, man. But with I've been to your church several times. You know, I have church of my own, but I also come to your church whenever I get the moment. What is it that your congregation made up of bikers, regular people, professionals, motorcycle club, social clubs, outlaw clubs, everybody. What do you get out of that?
Well, one of the things what I get out of it is the fact that I'm doing what God called me to do. He said in His Word, He said, "Whatever you do for the least of these, you've done it unto me."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes the least of these is just a person who's just going through a dry place in their life. Sometimes the least of these is that person who has damaged goods, but yet on the outside they look like they picture perfect, but on the inside they tore up from the floor because they done been through some things.
Right.
You know, and to be able to meet a person where they are and be Jesus with skin on, man, that's what I thrive off of because I'm knowing that I'm doing what God has called me.
So that's what you have in that cup. You done turned the water into wine.
Hey, man.
But do you have to get that's big? That's it. That's it, dude.
That was Jesus first.
Yeah.
But do you have to get to a point? Have you ever had to get to a point, because to where you have to take off this hat and not be Pastor Flo?
Can I answer that, Flo?
Yeah. And
Flo ain't never took that hat off, man.
okay.
And the reason why I say that, man, because I'm gonna tell you something, man. I met this man officially in 2010 at the Bloody Knuckle, and I was teetering on Harley, wasn't there yet, teetering, and I rolled Tucson Springer for the first. I said, "Ooh, I like this." And I went and did all this thing with the fake Harleys, with the Suzukis and stuff. And I finally got me a hog, man, and Flo since 2010. June, as a matter of fact, June 2000, you've been the same dude. And the thing about Flo, that if you guys have not had the opportunity to actually talk to this man, Flo is a real man.
Yeah,
He's a man of the cloth. Let's not get this misunderstood. But Flo will have a conversation with you in your language.
Amen.
I'm glad you said that, in your language. Every time, you know, I mean, because and he'll say it, Dreezy, you ain't gotta clean it up for me. You know, I'll be like, man, that nigga, that motherfucker. And then I give a scripture. But that's that motherfucker. But you ain't know I walked with him. I almost killed this nigga out of there. I'm just saying. But have you ever been in a situation? 'Cause I know we have. And I ain't gonna lie to you, this is my friend. And like I said, friends are people you don't talk to. You're my friend. Friends are people you don't talk to every day. But you or these, because somebody called me at 2 a.m, man, I'm stuck in Abilene. I'm coming. But have you ever been in a situation to where you had to be like Jesus was in that synagogue when he chased them the temple?
Well, see, here's the deal.
He chased them people out of there.
I know where you're going.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I won't confirm nor will I deny,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody will be tested.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I try to encourage people is just because a person is humble, don't test their gangster.
Right.
You better Google. You know what I'm saying?
I'm Googleable.
I'm Googleable too.
So,
Google
you know what I'm
me.
saying? And so, you better do some research because just because a person might not talk loud, just because a person you might not see them using those forms of expression because it don't offend me when people curse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It don't offend me because that's just a form of expression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I'm gonna let them get their point across. They come to me sometimes and they like, "Hey man, Pastor Phil, we don't have to sit down. I'm finna kill these blah 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 blah."
Right,
Right.
right, right.
I'm just not gonna,
Right. Right.
and that's just true facts. And I'm like, oh, let's talk about it because you got more to lose than you got to gain. Let's count up the cost. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You do that, who gonna post your bond?
Well, I know for a fact you had to stand the gap for the situation I was in. You know about it, what it was. And because it was about to be all out war that day. I was going to step out. He was going to step out, and Pastor called me. And he's like, look, let me get in the middle of this. And he got it because he said, because they got people, you got people, it's going to be a problem. And when he got in the middle of it, it just went away. And my thing is, it's funny because I even feel, even with Disky, I feel like it's a form of disrespect, even though it's his real name. I feel like it's more a form of respect when I call him Disky the Great or Disky. I feel like the respect I have is a form of disrespect for me to call you Johnny, even though that's your name. Now, my former pastor told me, he said, when he introduced it, when people ask him what's his name, he would say, "My name is Leonard," and they would say, "You don't say your name, Reverend Davis." He said, "That ain't my name. My name is not Reverend. My name is Leonard. You the same way. I have never heard you. I have never heard you say, yeah, my name is Pastor Flo."
I'm gonna tell you something. What's understood don't have to be spoken.
Right.
And when people know you for who you are, you don't have to always sound an alarm. Because people respect you for your character.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I vow to do is be persistent. And in God, we got to understand this, brothers. Everybody out there in Facebook land right now, I want to leave you with this nugget. God is not looking for perfection. God is looking for persistence. You're persistently striving to be better today than you were yesterday. It's not rocket science because we all fall short of the master's glory.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I'm saying, if you push anybody, even me or anybody, if you push them hard enough and long enough, I'm saying, you might see something that you never did bargain for.
Mm-hmm.
So leave people alone.
Because we all grew up here.
We all grew up here. Respect each other. You know what I'm saying? And have enough sense to know and understand that they're human just like you're human. And when you know that people are human, you know that, what I'm saying, what hurts, hurts. And what feels good, feels good. But no one knows the pain like the person who's going through it. And even somebody right now on this podcast is going through some pain, is going through some difficulties, going through some challenges. And you like, man, don't nobody even understand. But one thing I can tell you for certain, you're not the only one that's going through it. You might feel like you're on an island all by yourself, but you're not the only one that's going through it. And so one of the things I would challenge you is this right here. I know for certain that some of the biggest gangsters I know, they love God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They love God. Yeah, they'll slap the taste out your mouth if you get out of line. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
But it's God approved.
It was in his will.
You gotta watch it. They're gonna slide one in. But you gotta get to that place in your life where you respect people.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Fellowship Church. We said 2200 South Zane, where God is always doing His thing. Winwood is full of professionals, but we're full of ex gangbangers, crack slangers, manipulators, and terminators.
Facts.
They all come to worship. They all come to be better today than they were yesterday. And somebody always look for fault. Somebody always look for all them preachers, all of them the same, all of them they beg for money. Listen, I don't beg for nobody's paper. Got my own. And at the end of the day, it's about kingdom. It's about doing what you can do, leaving a legacy saying that
Mm.
when I die, when I leave this place, I'm getting ready to go through a procedure here the Monday after Easter.
I just wanted you to say it. I didn't want to,
Yeah,
I didn't want to mention it.
it's all good. I'm getting ready to go through a procedure, but one of the things, and they're gonna take out a mass out of my chest that's the size of my fist. You know what I'm saying? And they give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But if I trust God,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? If I trust God, I have to stand on what I preach. You know, if I believe that God is a healer and a deliverer, and He's my Jehovah Jireh, He's my provider, He's omnipresent, meaning He's always there. He's omnipotent. He's always consuming, all consuming. I have to stand on that. So even when it don't feel good. So whether they go in with like a robot and cut here and here and here and here, 6-inch incisions and send a robot in to remove the mass, or they split me open and then pull the mass out that way. Whatever the case may be, whatever God's will is, let it be done.
Mm.
And so if God called me from labor to rest while I'm on the surgical table, I know and understand the legacy that I'm leaving behind is one thing about Pastor Flo is he cared about people.
That is a fact.
He cared about people. You know, he didn't care who you was, he didn't care what your past was, because the scripture said that even though your sins are red as crimson, God made it white as snow.
You know, and based on that flow, again, just going back to where it all started, I've seen the unity and community go from, you know,
Pick up look.
60, 70 people
Mm-hmm.
to what we just had this conversation, 2,100 people.
Yeah.
And this is consistent. And the consistency that you have in the community. You know, I seen this, and I travel to Dallas to witness this every year. And I take offense to any body that's in the community that don't support that, because aside from whatever you have going on with anyone else, this has nothing to do with that.
Right.
And for people to not see that as a gift, to give their time and energy uh to help someone else, man, that's a selfish act. And that's one thing that I can say that I have never witnessed with you, the selfishness that I see in other people. And I said all that to say this. There are times where, I got things, I got other things going on or whatever. I'm like, man, it's gonna be cold and this and that. And Flo, you don't have to make a phone call to me. You don't have to make a phone call to me because it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
We bought suits.
Yes.
We don't rent them.
Mhm. Right.
We
That
bought suits. We don't rent them.
own them,
So,
Jack. Believe
so
that.
I said all that to say this, man. You and I had this conversation, months back, and I see what you do in the Dallas community, and I want that for my community also.
We
But
working on
but I'll say that I'm not necessarily a part of a community because I'm just I'm outside of the community, so to speak. But I got so much love in the community when I do show up, because although they may not know me, they've heard of me, right? And they heard of me for good terms and not bad.
That's right.
So it's nothing to attach myself to something that's good and bring something good to the hood. And I want to work with you with that, man. And I want
Well,
to bring that to
well,
fruition.
the thing about that, man, yeah, we talked about that offline, and it's amazing because that makes sense. I remember back in the day, and DSK, you might remember this too. You didn't have all these different factions doing these things. You had DSR the back school drive, and everybody contributed to that. You had DT Mob to feed the homeless. Everybody contributed to that. You had Soul Rise, Pastor Flow, whatever, with the toy drive giveaway, and then more from toys.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge now. Everybody contributed to that. Now, one thing I like, what selfless act he had, and sometimes just you need to celebrate the people while they're in your presence.
Hmm.
Was when every year he would come to the feed the homeless. Well, since I've been an officer, and he always, I was like, we gotta talk. We hear from Pastor Flo, you pray. He'll say the declaration and all this stuff. 1 year, 2 years ago maybe, he couldn't make it. And he had, I think it was Diva came up, somebody came up to me and said, Pastor Flo won't let you know that if he could be here, he would be here. He couldn't make it. That's selfless. I'm gonna tell you, because you didn't have to tell me that. You know, so I'm gonna tell you something else. A lot of pastors I know they don't work. A lot of pastors I know they church. They say job, they church. When he donated the big pallet of water, I don't know if you remember this. I went to his job, it's like 3 years ago, maybe 4, and got the pallet. I'm like, Pastor Flo work? No, real talk. You know I ain't lying.
Right.
Most of the preachers live off of what they get. You know, and he's like, yeah, that's my job. I work. And it's funny because of the simple fact that, man, it's a lot of people that view, and there's so much hatred. And my thing is, how can you hate on so much good? Man, when I first came to the first toy drive, and it has morphed since then. The first one I came to was inside the Wynwood apartments.
Yep.
And that was a smaller one.
Yeah.
And then more to where you had to put it across the street. And I saw all these boxes. I'm like, man, how does this man do this? So how can you hate on something like that? So how do you feel? Because I know you hear it sometimes. How you handle that? Now I know what you're gonna do. I know what you've been doing here this whole podcast. You have a way, and it's cool. I like it. Whatever you say, you backing it up with word.
You got to.
So, but how do you feel knowing that people hate on you that you ain't done nothing to?
Well, it's like this.
You went in a fight you didn't even know you was in.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's real simple. I mean, because you used to try to dumb down the favor of God.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dumb it down. You know,
I've done that.
you blitz.
Mhm.
You dumb it down.
Mhm.
Because you don't want people looking at you sideways.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You doing big things, but you dumb it down. You know what I'm saying? But then God convicted me. He said, I'm blessing you. Be a blessing to others. And if someone don't like what I'm doing, they got the issue, not you.
Mm.
And so now, when you walk in the room, and this goes for both of y'all, because y'all have the same issue, it's just on a different level. Don't be acting brand
Hey,
new.
man,
Y'all got the same issue. When you
Yeah.
walk in the
I
room,
ain't lying.
somebody say, "Hey, go there."
Look at that. Look at that nigga back. Nigga, thank you all that. Nigga, oh yeah.
So, but then while it's going on, so what? When you walk in the room now, and because you know you're tailor made by God,
Mhm.
and when you walk in the room, you change the atmosphere. Start when you know that them people who don't like you for no apparent reason,
Mhm.
just do like this, so you can breathe now. Because you done sucked all the
Sucked
oxygen
all
out.
oxygen up.
When you walk,
and it's not cause we fat.
yeah, no. Because of the presence and the
Right.
anointing and the favor that God has over you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna always deal with people who don't like. Look what they did to Jesus.
Right.
You're gonna always have people who don't like you. You know, but that's why you got to be on top of your A game and don't let your good be evil spoken of. You know, and that's why you got to be persistent. That's why you got to be consistent and standing flat footed on what you believe. What do I always say? Know who you are, know whose you are, and don't compromise.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And those three things right there, it takes us a long way. Know who you are, know whose you are, don't compromise. But so often we get caught up, whether it be we get caught up with a cut, we get caught up with a Harley Davidson, we get caught up with some little clout on the set, and then all of a sudden we become something that we're not.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Bigger than what you thought you was.
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. But you got to know and understand that when God has truly got you in a position like He got you, you just got to walk in there knowing. I tell people, they say, "Man, Pastor Flo, how do you do it?" And I tell them the same thing. Everybody the same thing. I'm just walking in the fog. They said, "What's walking in the fog?" I'm walking in the favor of God.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a shirt, dog.
we
We finna sell that, Jack.
man. You know what I'm saying?
Walking in the fog.
You're just walking in the fog, the favor of God. And so if you I'm walking in the fog, so if you got a problem with me, it's your problem, not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm gonna keep on doing what God called me to do. You know, and you're not gonna be for everybody. I'm not for everybody. You know, because you got a lot of people who say, "How you gonna be a pastor and he ride motorcycles? How you gonna be a pastor and he like old school cars? How he gonna be a pastor and he always around people? Well, do your research. Jesus was always at the party. He said, "I came for the sick. I didn't come for the well."
Right.
And at the end of the day, if you see me at an event, it's very seldom that I go to an event and somebody don't say, "Pastor, can you pray for me?"
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's never a time to where, and I don't care if they got something in their hand, they can be getting ready to pass the gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Pastor, you here? I needed to talk to you here, man. Take this.
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Pastor, I need to tell you what's happening.
That's the good thing.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just the man. I'm
Good
telling you,
thing.
Flo. It's just the man. It's the amount of respect
Yeah. Yeah.
that when you see a man, when you see Pastor Flo at these, and I'm like, Pastor Flo, man. When I first started seeing Flo, I was like, now come on, now Flo,
Hey,
what you doing here?
I'm trying to say some stuff.
Hey man, hey, I'm gonna tell you like, but the thing, yeah, but
I'm trying to get some people right.
yeah,
What's my motto? Ride hard, pray hard, and
get your bitch right.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when I remember when you started the movement, man, you had haters then.
Yeah.
I call him. That's my boy. I should say, man, what's up? I should say, man, I see your man over here. I want a guy. I said, your man got on your movement shirt, but this nigga get done down 4 beers, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but you weren't judgmental.
Nope.
I was judgmental at first because I felt like this group was started by the pastor. Nigga, don't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell it on you, nigga.
Mhm.
I straight snitched on you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it was a bunch of drinking and hoeing and everything.
But one thing about it, but even it goes back to what you said, man. It's funny because God never dealt with perfect people.
Yeah, peeps.
Yeah.
Got a man here.
Yeah, Moses, Noah, lot. But my thing was, okay, for the guy, we talked about religion before, but what do you think? What do you think the number one thing besides prayer, if you had to speak, because I tell people at my church, I got a spiritual thought process, even about tithing. It's a spiritual aspect and it's a practical aspect. I say, I said the spiritual aspect is, will a man rob God? Yeah, you're right with tithing. Jesus said that. No, God never said that. That wasn't God. Now, I say the practical aspect, you're supposed to give cheerfully. But the practical aspect is, you want the lights come on? When you flip that switch, you want the lights come on? When you flush that commode, you want that to go on down in there? That's what your tithe and stuff do. So besides prayer, and I'm coming to something, what do you think it is that the biking community needs to do most?
That's $1 million question. And one of the things that I think we're on the road to is being unified. And I really think, really think that a 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step. And I really see some progress in some areas. A lot of people may not see it, but I see some progress in some areas where you got certain people who didn't fool with each other, but now they deal with each other.
Right.
Whether they're doing it just a little bit or whether they're doing it because, you know what I'm saying, they ain't got bond money this season. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they fooling with each other. So my whole thing is if we can just work on this unity, because love and kindness have I drawn all men up. If we can come together, one of the things that I challenge, a lot of people don't know it. I have a program called DOC. DOC is Disciples of Christ. That's young boys 8 to 18. And I take them to my shop the third Saturday of the month. Y'all know I fool with them classic cars and motorcycles.
Right.
I take them over there and we mentor them. We teach life skills and social skills. If we all came together on the set and said we're gonna do something to try to change the mindset of what society called YN. What if we all came together? Like we talking about doing this thing over in Fort Worth, and we don't do it one time, but we do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? You're in the community in Dallas now. We did it in Tyler. We did Christmas after Christmas in Tyler, and it was a huge success. And they still calling me now saying, "Hey, Pastor, when you come back?" But I say I can't go nowhere until we go to Funky Town. Because at the end of the day, we need to join together collectively, DSW, and let's take back our neighborhood. Let's take back being one. You know what I'm saying? Let's like this. And I don't want to go into politics.
Yeah.
But it's a situation now.
We go into all that.
It's a situation right now that's out there, and you got a young black man. Boy, really, he's just a kid,
right?
Who is in a terrible situation.
Man,
A terrible situation. And if people don't rally around him and support him in prayer, support him in just doing the right thing, trying to help him his life, they gonna ramrod.
And see, and this the thing. Like it's such a high profile case in a small town. But that small town got a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And a lot of people outside of where we live don't understand Frisco or that city. And that city is known for,
Yeah.
the degradation of black people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They even had what they call slave trade in school. You know what I mean? So uh I don't want to and I try to be as careful as I can when it comes to these types of situations because I never want to be looked at as one of those. I never want to be looked at as someone that doesn't have an open mind about anything.
Well, let me just say this. Regardless of a person's stand, compassion needs to play a role in it.
Hmm.
Compassion. Because when we start thinking about how this is going to affect overall, and if we go back to the bikers, go back to our community, when we rode down on City Hall, we sent a message that had never been done.
Yep.
When we pulled up at City Hall during George Floyd, that was a message that was so powerful to see, and how all of us came together. That was the beginning of something beautiful. But here's the thing. Now what?
The after action.
Yeah. And I think where we missed the mark is we didn't have an after action review.
No, we didn't.
And that after action review is going to give you marching orders for the next thing that needs to take place. So back to what we need on the motorcycle community. And I'm not God, but I am just a servant of the Most High, and I see this. I think that we come together unified, and you're gonna have people who not gonna want to do it because they're a shepherd for the devil.
Right.
There's
Right.
no other way to look at it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're a shepherd for the devil. But then at the same time, when you have a sphere of influence, and you got a sphere of influence, and I got a sphere of influence, let's use our sphere of the people who we have that support us. Let's do some good in the neighborhood. Let's do some good. Let's go back and let's say, okay, well, we know that we got 15 senior citizens over here who are on a fixed income, and what can we do for them? How can we make their life better? I got a lot of flack a couple of weeks ago because I had all the senior citizens in the church stand up and come to the front, and I blessed them all with a financial gift.
You got flack for who?
I got flack.
You just got flack.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I witnessed the blessing just last Tuesday.
Last
And
Tuesday.
yeah, last Tuesday.
At 2 Tuesday.
Yeah, at 2 Tuesday, I witnessed the blessing. You
I
know what
didn't
I'm
think that.
saying?
What happened?
Well, I mean, the blessings don't have to always be discussed.
Oh, okay, I just thought it was a
Just,
public blessing. I'm sorry.
just understand that I watched this man bless another individual that ain't had nothing.
Oh,
to
I
do.
got you. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? With nothing.
But the thing about it, but this is the deal.
Yeah, go ahead. Acts of kindness, we all can do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Acts of kindness. But sometimes we get so much air in our chest that we don't wanna do nothing good for nobody else. Or if we see somebody else doing good, we want to talk about the person that's doing good. But yet and still you ain't trying to do nothing.
Ain't trying to do nothing. Then the main one was talking.
Ain't saying nothing.
But the thing about it, I just say to myself all the time, because we've had this talk. I tried to talk to Nisky about it, try to dumb myself down. Like, man, I'm tired of talking about me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you told me this one day. I never forget. You said, if they ain't hate you, they ain't popping.
Right.
My thing is, I'm gonna be me. I know I have a strong spirit of discernment. I pray for it every day. I'm always helping people, and on my lives when I'm going separately, I always say, do something somebody don't tell nobody. Because at the end of the day, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to know that you got people that look at you as a sphere of influence. And it's funny that you said that because I look around the church. I've been to Winterford Fellowship several times. And you're truthful when you say you got Gangsters, they there. I'm talking about cats that'll take you out of here. But the respect, back to what Disky said, man, that one word on the set rings volumes. People know that when they come, this man at his church brought 6 outlaw clubs together. 6 outlaw clubs, and nothing happened. Now, the only place that I've seen that happen has been at one of our events. At our events, a blackout.
We
However,
had one here.
and y'all,
Two wheel two
yeah,
wheel
two
two.
wheel two, yes, sir, 2 wheel 2. So it goes back to what you just said. We just all said 3 different instances where that happened. My thing is, when you look at that though, Flo, without Bible, just Johnny. The man has been through by the uncreated. I don't know, but I'm saying, when you look at that man, when you go home and lay your head on your pillow, knowing that you can do it, you can call, man. Okay, I'm gonna go see. You can call a baddest nigga in DFW. Hey, doc, I need to speak to you. Okay, this you can do it. You've done it. I've seen it. I know what 2 wheel 2s you talking about. I now this job. We got a council over there. We do it. How does that make you feel though, man? What? Because I mean, you kind of humble in your. I think you being real modest here, bro. How does it make you feel in your position?
It makes me feel good to the fact that you know I can use it. And you said don't quote scripture, but the
I
Bible,
already know.
the
Yeah.
Bible says he'll have honorable men respect you. You know what I'm saying? And so, and at the end of the day, when you walk in integrity and people know you don't have a hidden agenda, you know what I'm saying?
Say that.
Hidden agenda.
Say
They know
that.
you don't have a hidden
Say
agenda,
that.
Right.
so
That's
they're gonna
it.
respect. You know, and then when you see people going through life, when life start lifing,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you get a call from somebody like me who's saying, "Hey man, look, I ain't gonna say, hey man, I know you're down right now, but send me your Zelle." You know what I'm saying? Because the movement, we tell anybody, we are not no motorcycle club
Right.
because we don't get into the political jargon.
Mm,
But we're a faith-based motorcycle organization that when we see a need in our community, we're gonna try to make sure that we're there.
right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to make sure that we for unity. We stand on unity. We stand on Bible. You know, and does that mean everybody in our organization is perfect?
No.
No, not perfect by no stretch. They're gonna turn up just like you turn up.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna kick it. They're gonna party like a rock star. But at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road, it's about brotherly love and affection. And we want to represent that. So it makes me feel good to know that God has chose me, but at the same time, He put a target on me.
Mm,
Let
Yes,
me let
sir.
that sit in.
Yes, sir.
You know, He let me set it and let that sit in because He put a target on you. Because now people are waiting on you to fall.
So go ahead.
man, I look, bro.
People waiting on you to fail.
You
They
know,
they got their popcorn and they
Mm-hmm.
sitting back chewing and they waiting on
Mm-hmm.
something.
and you know what I walk through this life, bro, and I'm like, man, you know what? I don't never disrespect anybody, man. You know, I try to be as responsible as I can as a man. And I sit back and I think to myself, I'm like, damn, like what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the only thing that I can say is that I chose God instead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put God on the forefront, man, it yo, I'm larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really only 150 pounds
Yeah.
under this shirt.
Tell them it's all in the
You know
loop.
what I'm saying? It's all but bro, because I have such a presence, and God has a presence in my life, and you can't help but to show that. So I don't walk around asking why they don't mess with me, why they don't like me, why, because I know why.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that do understand what they're looking at,
That's right.
Right.
they understand who I am. This is
Right.
why me and Draft get along so well, and
Mm-hmm.
we can have these little, back and forth, joshing each other, and,
Hold
and
each
it
other
not be
accountable.
taken personal, right?
Yeah.
Because we understand who we are as men.
Because he's swear I'm
And
impatient. I ain't impatient.
and he is, and but Flo, this was the whole point of bringing you on to this show was to not only give you your flowers,
Right.
but to have everybody that's listening and looking that doesn't have that doesn't know who you are realize who this man is sitting between us, because this man exists everywhere, and this man deserves the flowers, right? You know what I'm saying? Because people just see Pastor Flo. Pastor Flo's just everywhere. He's just cool, But this is a real man of God, man. And when the phone call went out to you to bless the riding season, and then you had your own bike blessing, a couple of days later that I couldn't make because I couldn't walk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, weather and that arthritis. You know what I'm saying? So, but I wanted to tell you to your face, not over the phone, not in the midst of a crowd, but to tell you with sober mind, Pastor Flo, I love you as a brother, man. You've always been 10 toes down for the set and for every individual that came and talked to you, man. If y'all don't know this man, y'all better look this man up, man. He is a true saint, man. And I know the medical procedure that you got going on,
Yeah.
and we send in prayer and love to you, man. You'll never lay in that hospital bed and not know that you loved and missed. You know what I'm saying? And we got another brother out here in Fort Worth, Rocket, that's
Yeah.
dealing with some
Shouts
shit
out to
too, man.
Rocky,
So
man.
we
Shouts
just
out to
want
Rocky.
to make sure that what I'm saying, that gets. And there's a lot of other people that's
Yeah.
dealing with things, and we want to make sure that what I'm saying, the love go out to them too, man. But this was your show, Pastor.
Yeah. The thing about it is, and it's funny because of some fact that these kids right, man. I told him one day, it's amazing how you move different when you get around people who you're looking up to and they don't even know you're looking up to. We had many deep conversations in the shop, and he told me a couple of things about myself one day. I almost took offense. I ain't gonna be around this nigga no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't nigga. I don't like you nigga no more. But the truth is, he was like, it made me have to kind of clean it up a little bit.
Right.
And then we started the council. People was like, well, man, the reason why it's coming together is because the people trust the person that's leading it, and you're genuine. And it goes back to you. You're genuine. And even when I was talking to Rocket about this, and a lot of people, because I'm gonna tell you, man, people pit Dallas against Fort Worth on this set all the time, man. We got to get rid of that. And then what happened was Rocket. We were thinking of names, and I said, I don't know what I want to call it. I want to call it Power Six. I think I said it to D. And then he's like, I said, I'll call it the council. So we started the council, and don't you know, it goes back to what you said. People went back to him talking bad about it, not knowing that he was an integral part of starting it. So I'm gonna say, I got two more questions. I've seen you on your high times, and I'm gonna get a little deep personal here, and I know you're gonna understand it. Your mother, God rest her soul. You moved. Did your mother stay here? You moved her here.
I moved there.
Okay, you moved your mother here, and I had the opportunity at your church to meet her one time. How were you able? Because you loved your mama. You love your mama. How were you able to gain the strength back from her past?
And tell you,
D, that
I
ain't. I don't mean to. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
for me, I wasn't always Pastor Flo, and it ain't no secret. You know,
Mm.
my mom, the song that everybody knows, she sing the you seen the best in me when others sing the worst. My mother's always been my number one cheerleader, and so when she took terribly sick, um, and you got family members who love your mom and everything, but you can just see how sometimes everybody need a break.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I'm gonna move my mama here. I'm gonna get a nurse. We're gonna take care of her. And it blessed me in abundance because my mother was always there. The Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father, and thy days may be long
Mm.
on this earth.
Mm.
And so when you honor your parents, even though your mom, I have to tell young men this all the time on Saturdays. I say, even though your mama might have been the worst of the worst, she's still your mother.
Still your mama.
Man.
Your dad may have been a deadbeat, but he's still
your
your dad.
Yes.
And I said, and here's the thing. They always tell me, Pastor Flo, but why? Why he ain't never been there for me? I said, easy. God may have chose him to plant the seed. He knew he wasn't a man to raise the seed. So he put other people in your life. This is why you got a support system that supports you in where you're going right now. You not only have one, but you have many. And so for us, bouncing back from my mother, it was one of those things. I hear her in my ear gate often. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. Now's the time for you to stand on what you preach. Hearing my dad saying, and I call my dad. He was one of the realest persons in the world because he give it to you straight, no chaser. He would use the N word, but I'm just gonna say he would say, "Let your name mean something."
Mm-hmm.
But he put that N word in
Yes.
front of it.
Right.
Let your name mean something. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And so when your mother and your dad, you were raised in that type of environment, you go through a season and you know that there's a hole in your soul when you
Mm.
lose your mother. There's a hole in your soul that nobody, no words, no nothing can fill it.
That's real.
The only thing can do is God's got to heal it in time. And the scripture says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Sometimes that joy, it takes a long time to get there.
Phew.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
Say,
let me tell you something. And sometimes it might be like me, I'm still damaged goods.
man.
I'm still in the process of getting over my mother. Her room is still the same at my house.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And now, if anybody out there need a hospital bed, come holler at me. I got one for you. But we find ourselves in that place to where you just gotta let time heal.
Yes.
It's no set time for you to grieve. It's
Mm.
no set time for you to stop crying. Because sometimes, you know, I can be driving down the road and all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Man.
You know? And so that don't mean I'm soft
Right.
because I love my mother so much so that, I get emotional,
Yeah.
but don't test my gangster.
Do you run into guys to when like in the movie Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
they knew him in Detroit Red.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
Then when he was converted, he was Malcolm X. He ran into the same old guy. Do you run into guys back in the day when you was Johnny?
I don't know. Just flow.
When you was Flo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Flo.
Yeah.
They never call you Johnny, call you Flo.
Yeah.
So do you run into guys these days that when you were Flo and then they look at you now? What's the
All the
interaction?
time. But one of the things that I dare not do is you have to protect where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get to a place because the Bible says, so a man thinketh, also shall he become.
Right.
You can't go back and play with your past and start having them, man, remember when moments. Because if you start thinking about those remember when moments, you might decide, hey, man, I could just hit one more lick.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, you back in it
Back
all
in
over
all over.
again.
Boy, that one more
So,
liquor, man.
you know
Ooh,
what I'm saying? Or else you get hit with, hey man, you can just make a phone call. And
man.
you're still incorporated.
Stealing from
You know what I'm saying? Well, hey man, yeah. See, all of that foolery, you have to just know when you run across people from your past, if they're not on the level that you on now, you gotta let that be. You know what I'm saying? Because your past is your past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It says, look to the hills which come at your help. Know your help comes from the Lord. So I'm looking forward. I ain't looking back. Now I'm never gonna forget the people who I always knew. We still gonna be down like 4 flats on a Cadillac, but
Right.
we ain't gonna do that.
We don't do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So so I get that, and I'm the same way. We talked about that.
Mhm.
I've never. I got some respect for the guy sitting next to you, these kids. We've talked about how we used to be.
Mhm.
In my mind, I'd be a fool to go back there.
Yeah.
The risk, everything I lost.
Mm.
So if I bumped you, hey man, I'm sorry, bro.
I'm sorry.
Or if I did something, man, let me talk to you. Let me do. Now I offend you, bro. Maybe I didn't know I did. That don't make you less of a man.
Yeah. But see, that goes back to what you asked me. What do the set need right now?
Mm-hmm.
Need that. Need that to know that hey man, it's okay to be nice.
Man,
No man, it's okay that you don't have to just swell up because somebody bumped you or touch your cut or
Right.
touch your body.
Right. And to understand that we if draft got an issue, I got an issue.
Mhm.
And if me and draft got an issue, Flo got an issue.
right.
And we don't have that
Right.
because what happens is if we got if draft got an issue,
Mhm.
I ain't
Mm-hmm.
got nothing to do with that. As opposed to saying, hey man, how can we resolve this?
But I got one pressing question. I know we gotta go, man. This is from my heart. I wasn't gonna ask it, but I'm hearing I need to ask this question.
Shoot. Y'all got me on the couch now.
Okay, got you on the couch. I'm gonna ask you, man, and I know this is probably it's gonna blow a hole in thing. Man, you had them shoes custom made, didn't you?
Hey,
You had them shoes custom made, dog. Hold up. All right. Now put that up there, Jack.
Hold up.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Hold on. Go turn it up, man. Look at nigga got on chocolate, man. Hey, he had the cut. I didn't want to them shoes. Nice. I didn't see them shoes where I shop at.
I got
You got them? Oh no.
See,
I got
shout out to my sister Angela, my sister, because she got these for me for my birthday.
Those clean, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And she was like,
everybody can't wear chocolate, man.
I said, she said, what you want for your birthday? I said, I got a Cooper outfit that needs chocolate. You know? And so she.
Man, you clean pre-shot though, man. You clean, hey, you be happy people. Hey, I'm gonna keep it real for the last 30 seconds, man. These niggas be having these women going crazy, man. Hey, man, when I tell you, nigga, you smell good as hell right now. Hell, I'm finna ask you what clothes you got. Look, man, I got everybody thinking they took a bath. Yeah, I think I took a bath, man.
Let's do this right here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Because you know it's all about Bible.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go with it.
The shoes.
Yes, sir.
The scripture says, how beautiful are the feet of the messenger that brings the good news.
See what I'm saying?
Is that not text?
That's not text. That's text.
That's text. See what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna
put my little presto up there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then we get down to, you know, when we start talking about, you know, the aroma, or if you're rocking Versace, you rocking Coach, or you rocking whatever it is, you know, there's a thing that where it says cleanliness is next to God.
That fact.
I'm just saying.
That fact.
You know, when you drive, and that's cleanliness in your spirit, mentally, cleanliness. You know, having positive thoughts. What we need on set. Positive thoughts. Positive vibes. Be able to look out for each other. You know, emotionally, stop walking around with your feelings on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, just because one thing goes south don't mean you have to respond to it. I tell my people at church and out here on the set, just because a person clap, don't mean you got to clap back.
Clap back.
I just told the dude this Sunday. I told him, I said, you know, you got to remember, if you do that, who gonna post your bond?
This dude here, man. Yeah, cause I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't got nobody to post my bond, Jack. I gotta think twice. This dude here, he saved me. Deesky saved me from a number of things. You have to. We'll have to talk. But
teamwork makes the dream.
Teamwork makes the dream. Cause but that one over there, I was like, man, I'm gonna go set this nigga out, man. I'm tired of talking about me, blah, blah, blah. But iron sharpens iron. So it's like I see how he deals with stuff. He'll make, you know, and it's good to have friends. Like, I don't have a lot of friends. I'm real popular. A lot of people know me. I know a lot of people, but friends, I probably count them on 2 hands. So he one of them. You one of them. So my thing is, but he just, I watch how he move. And he moved like, man, I ain't worried about that. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. But I had to get to that point.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, Driver. Right? And I'm not even concerned about the time. And I know if you guys have to go, y'all can go. But
right.
I've seen some shit in my life. I've stared down the barrel. I've witnessed my life being spared. So if my life is spared, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I tell you to spare somebody else's life? Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm talking about right here.
Yeah.
Ain't no coming back.
No.
My life was spared. So I'm not gonna walk around here like I'm tough and I'm big and I'm bad. I'm not gonna do that. Man, you win, bro. You win.
That's what I say, bro. I mean, I'm 51 years old, and bro, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm young. I'm not an old man. I'm an older man. And my thing is, I feel like there is the one thing I like about you and Logic. That's a Logic. Y'all have the same kind of mindsets, and it's like what I mean by that. I know that even when you're around, even though you've been a pastor, you know everybody hang their head on that. I know that I'm still safe. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying I know I'm still safe. I know that it's kind of like Chick-fil-A. Nigga, if you mad at him, that's your fault. If you go to Chick-fil-A and you leave Chick-fil-A and you mad at them, nigga, that's your fault.
That's your fault.
So my thing is
Nah, they did mess my order up a couple of times though. They did mess
But
my
they
order up.
probably made it right.
If I'd have went back,
if you went back, but you still ate it though, right?
shit.
There you go. So, but my thing is, I say this, man. Okay, even with the vines, okay, you got on, even with the shoes you got on, even that scripture, like you said, I want to see the example. What I mean by that is, Jesus wasn't okay. I get it. Jesus wasn't walking around with no halo around his head. When Judas said, "The one I kissed, that's the one." So that gives us an example of they all damn look like, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But at the same time, you don't preach prosperity, but you are an example of what can happen if you truly walk in that light of that blessing. So, when I see you got the boots like me, you got the shoes like me, you got this and that, I got them like you and stuff like that. And to me, when I see that, if I want to see blessings walking, I don't want to see no broke. That you can't teach me. You can't teach me positive and positive when you. Well, how you feel today, Pastor Flo? Okay, you just told the world that you're gonna have a massive thing. You still came here. You still was at my Monday.
To Fort Worth, bro.
Still was at 2 Tuesday.
And I got a flight to catch
in the morning.
at 4:30.
We're gonna get them out.
No, we good.
Okay.
We good. I got to fly into Monroe, Louisiana. We're starting a family hope center there, or a compassion center there. And so I got to go there and sign the MOU, memorandum of understanding. And so.
Well, when do you rest, man?
Hey man, only thing come to a sleep is
You
a bad
better
dream.
man.
I know that's right, Jack. I know that's right. But
See that this is look, man.
you
I'm
done
saying
said that to me before.
say, look, bro. I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you land in the bed past 7 o'clock, man, you ain't got nothing to do with your life.
Yeah, man. And
But hold on, Dre, let me say this.
Nah,
Man,
go ahead.
I gotta get this. I gotta
Get
this
it out. Get it out.
I don't think y'all understand how powerful this video is. Man, both of these brothers, man. Man, I'm a young dude from Stop 6, bro. I ain't grew up with nothing, bro.
With that.
You know what I'm saying? And again,
y'all was fixing Stop 6.
Hey, say, man,
look,
listen, man. I get it, bro. But y'all too, you know what I mean? Draft got his. I tell people all the time, man. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
say
We
it.
do this.
Don't
We
say
do this
it.
live. Man.
Don't say it.
Look, draft hold his own. You know what I mean? I'm a pawn on his board. You know what I'm saying? But between you two, dude, man, y'all gotta understand, man. They in the funk, man. You know what I'm saying? So they under my protection.
We in Stop 6, baby. It was a 6 stop on the railroad, baby. I just found that out today. When I looked it up, I was like, why they call it Stop 6? Now I know
It was pivotal.
Yeah.
But see, that's the beauty of it. You using your sphere of influence to bring about transformation.
Yeah.
Notice I said the key word, transformation. My book, I've been trying to finish it, but God ain't let me finish it yet. It's called The Power of Transformation and the Demise of Change. And why do I say the demise of change? Change is temporary. If I take this jacket off, I can hang it over there and come back tomorrow and put it back on. But if I take this jacket and I cut it up into 1,000 pieces, I done transformed it to the rags that wipe those motorcycles off over there. I can't go back and do that. So what I desire.
You mean not in the garage? Cause we in the living room.
Yeah,
the garage.
I mean, he at the beach.
Yeah, so out in the garage. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, transformation, you're bringing about transformation. We're bringing about transformation. What does set need? The set need transformation. We need to do more of this to where we can come together. And I've had a conversation with Rocket. I have a conversation with you that we want to bridge this thing, to where it's not Fort for Dallas. It's the DFW.
Period.
And that's the reason why, you tell me today, and I promise you, we're going to go to a neighborhood and we're going to take thousands of pairs of shoes. I gave out 4,000 pairs of shoes at Unity in the Community. We're going to do the same thing for Fort Worth. We're going to take shoes. We're going to take some other items. But let's start off with what they need most, which is shoes.
Yeah.
We can't get them J's.
Yeah.
But we can get some shoes where nobody is going to school with their toes sticking out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like Backdraft after his accident.
Thank you, brother. Let me take some shoes. And then the crazy part is, I got, see, you don't laugh, bro. I bought the cloud text. I like these days I'm more about comfort. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, I bought the cloud text, and man, once I got picked up off the ground, them jokers look like Jesus. Whole sticking out.
Jerusalem cruise.
Oh, Jerusalem.
Jerusalem cruise.
And then the crazy part about it, so of course my feet was messed up, so I had to wear flip flops for about 2 months. And but it's funny that you say what you said about DFW, because we've always regarded DFW as a metroplex.
Right.
So if it's a metroplex, you don't really talk about one without talking about the other. And there's a reason why we do it as far as the chain and stuff. There's a reason why I do something in Dallas and in Fort Worth. I think it would be astronomical if we pulled it off to where we did this over Fort Worth. I actually like Fort Worth. I like coming over here. I like, I've never been. I didn't really start coming to Fort Worth as much until I started doing Two Tuesdays and the clubs over here. But my thing,
I brought a lot of people from Dallas.
yeah, because I had zero. I had zero reason to go to Fort Worth. So it was like when I started coming out, then I started realizing the beauty of Fort Worth. There are some places in Fort Worth that's beautiful, even if you may think they run down. Based on where I'm from, I may go to stop since I go over here off Rosedale, Riverside, stuff like that. But it's beautiful to me because I see our people, but I also see a need. See the same need in Dallas, and we see these needs. And I go to Dixon all the time where I did stuff. And my thing is, I see the same need. It's kind of Hispanic now, but still the same need. My thing with Winwood Fellowship, what made you the name? I know we got to go, but the name Winwood Fellowship, the Empowerment Center. Empowerment is a strong word.
Absolutely.
This dude empowers me a lot, and I'm just doting. I'm keeping 100. I didn't know nothing about no music. I'm gonna be honest with you. He told me when I got that Road King, he said, "Well, man, shoot, you can put your own music on your Road King. You're a business owner. You do this, but you're sitting here telling me that I can do this. That's a friend." So what I did was I told him, I said, "I'm gonna save my money, dog. I want it done right. I'm gonna let you do it." But the Empowerment Center, I know this is the last question I have. Where did that come from?
Well, you might not know this, but I took 8 apartments, and inside the apartments, when there was the old Redstone Winwood, we had the one-stop shop social service center. Took 8 apartments, and we did everything from GED classes, ESL classes, after-school programs for the kids. Uh, Started out with an after-school program. Then we realized that it was bigger, than the community was bigger than an after-school program, because the average income during that time was $2,570 annually. That's not including your TANF. That's not including your food stamp. You know what I'm saying? So back then, money was funny and change was strange. And so we did the after school program, but then wait a minute. These people, some of them don't have cars to get to doctor's appointments. So we built a relationship, collaboration with Parkland Hospital. And Parkland came out in one of those apartments and turned it into a clinic. And so then from the clinic, we had people who are living in dysfunctionality. So then I partnered with the family place, and they set up an office over there, and they started some family counseling. Okay, well, sometimes even though Kroger's is right across the street, if you don't got money, you still can't get groceries.
Right.
So I put a food pantry inside the apartment. So then after the food pantry, well, look here, and they won't give me a job because of my background. I spoke with Miss Flowers. Well, they won't give you a job, make you a job. So then I started entrepreneurship program. You know what I'm saying? And one of the times where you know how the summer work program happens, but then the kids who parents would get them to the unemployment office, they get the jobs first. So all my kids in the hood, my boys that was part of my school program, they couldn't get no jobs. So they were like, Mr. J, all the jobs gone for the summer. What we gonna do? I said, easy. So they gonna give you a job. We're gonna make it. I went to the record yard. I bought a van, took all the seats out of it, put power washing equipment in it, and they started their own business, clean machine mobile detail power wash service. So all those businesses in the shopping center over in Winwood Shopping Center, they would go over there after hours and spray down the parking lots and the sidewalks. And so that was their business. When those boys graduated college, we sold the clean machine, and that was the same around the same time Katrina happened. So it was the guy who wanted to buy clean machine mobile detail power wash service. He bought it because he was going to New Orleans to help clean up. after the storms. And those boys were going to college. So we sold the business, split the money amongst all those boys who worked it those 2 years. They got all the money and they had money to go to college.
Wow.
So it's bigger than what we see. Empowerment. So then when the empowerment center came about, so first of all, we started having a church inside the community center. But we outgrew that space. And then God spoke to me and said, you can't say you're vested in the community if you don't own anything in the community. And all these, that around that same time, people was coming to me, they were saying, hey, Pastor Fo, somebody's going to get killed around the corner because these kids are hanging out over here at this crack house, yada, 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 yada. And you know what I'm saying? Pastor Flo, they doing it, and the house is run down, this, that. I said, why is everybody coming telling me this? But then God told me, if you're vested in the community, you need to own something. So what I did was, I went and bought the crack house and turned it into a chapel. You know what I'm saying? I concreted the whole front yard. I tore down all the walls inside the house, and we started having church there. Because if you're vested in the community, if you're truly vested and you know something like that is going on in the community, you got to do something about it.
Wow.
And them same people who was there doing the dirt, I said, man, look here, you need to use them skills. Because you obviously know how to diversify a portfolio. If you can break it down from 36 to 28, you know what's going on. You're a mathematician.
Whoop.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so on that note right there, we go a little bit further. So now you done empower them, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do something different with their time. You done bought a piece of property in the community, and so we still have that piece of property in the community. But then what ends up happening, we outgrew that space. And the empowerment center, as you know today, was an abandoned Jiffy Lube.
Right.
With graffiti all over it, you know what I'm saying? It was an abandoned building. So I used to go over there, I said, Lord, if I just had this little bitty rundown building, because Lord, I know you're in the business of resurrecting the dead. I'm talking to somebody right now. You might be in a dead situation and you think this is the end. God is in the business of resurrecting dead things. So don't count yourself out. That building, well, I would go over there, lay hands on it and pray and say, Lord, I know it's not much. I know it's not a mega church. And I was looking there and I tell the people who was getting high inside the building, because it brought me notice I kept in the empowerment center those indentions still look like garage.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was peeping through there and I tell them, in a minute you're gonna have to find your new place to get high. Because this is gonna be the empowerment center. They cussed me out and throw a broke beer bottle at me. Threw it because that was their spot. So I ended up buying that. God made a way. We bought that and tore it down. And when I was tearing it down, the engineer said, hey, the bones of this building is good. So why don't you just keep the bones and build around it? And so that right there became the empowerment center.
Wow. Now that's a testimony in itself, man, because I never knew the history of that. And it's funny because I often look at that wall, the wall up there that you stand behind, that you stand in front of. I don't know something about that wall. I don't know the story on it. I don't know anything. There's something about that wall. And I look at it, and man, when I come in there,
same wall that the junkie threw the bottle at.
Wow. So from Disciples of Christ to Clean Machine, Power Wash Services, to the Empowerment Center, to the food pantries. This has been like a historical journey for you. Frame House Customs. Yeah, Frame House Customs. Frame House Records. Now I don't seen the I don't seen the old school. Y'all make me want to get old school, to be honest with you and Rocket. So
too much time. I'd rather be a motorcycle.
You want to put a motorcycle?
Hey,
look at what I did.
Have one sitting in his garage.
Bro, what I did was I saw Rocket's 5 Mustang. And I said, man, I'm gonna get me I was talking to my homeboy, said, I'll get the 5.0.
Yeah.
So the GT or whatever. So I just wanted to just go buy it and then fix it up. I don't want to buy no old messed up. Man, them things are still $20-some thousand, man.
You can get you one for about 85, but you gotta put a little work in.
I don't want to put no work into it. See, but but I had an old colors. I'm gonna end with this. I had an old 77 colors that my angel mama sold me. She sold it for $500 to me. It was green with white leather interior. I was 18, man, and I let that car go, man. With white guts. And I know now, but I would be rolling.
My first one was a 1970 Fleetwood Special.
Lord.
I paid $500 for it.
So, man, it's funny because you got all this sitting on this couch, man. And I'm going to tell you, bro, he pulled out this. What year? I would say, let me guess. 84. The truck you was in, my
Oh, that was 81.
81. I knew. First of all, I didn't know whose it was.
Yeah.
I'm looking around like,
81,
how you get
87.
there? You know, that ain't right on your bike, you know, because you know when he on his bike. Like I know when you on your bike. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he ain't got no, he clean. He ain't on his bike. I said, oh man, where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that one. But I see that, man, and it's like, I don't know. I just ain't never been one to be no hater, man. I be happy for people.
But see, here's the thing. If I got it, and I know Disky feel the same way. If I got it and my partner won't,
EQ, what's up?
we can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? We put something with something. Let's do
Well,
it.
man, I want it, man.
First off,
The Lord got
I tell it all the time, even about his music.
Yeah.
I say, bro, you got the best thing smoking.
What you talking about, man? Oh yeah. You right. Yeah, you tell me.
If and this is what I tell people all the time, man. Like I have to make money.
Yeah.
I have to,
Mm-hmm.
but not every time. You know what I mean? Like the same way I donate time to anything else. You know, you do that for your friends, the people that's in your life. You don't the same way you donated time for the internet. You know what I'm saying? And for us, and we have an appreciation for you for that. But it's the time, and these are the things that we don't charge. You know, these are the things that when you look back, you're like, damn, that dude there, I probably should have paid him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, hold on. Let me get straight now. He had to come to my house one time.
One
I
time,
was
Drake.
impatient. Well, the one time that I was impatient. So I
One
said,
time.
I said to him, I said, yeah, he came over there. I don't know what it was to stop my bike from running, but he came over there and touched it, and it came on.
Yeah.
And I said, man, shoot, that's cool, man. I said, yeah, man. I said, man, yeah, you my boy, man. I'm gonna give you some gas money. He said, oh, it's gonna cost a little more than that. So you know, he said, oh, it's gonna cost a little more than that. But my thing is, man, so it's been a pleasure, man. I know we know you gotta catch that flight, man.
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. Let me just say this.
Okay.
You talking about, like, you know, I was telling Disky and him and Black, I said, man, my schedule's so crazy. I need to get my bike out there to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and get my music. So they came to my house, picked it up, fixed it, did my music. They think you did the music first or did the bars first?
Yeah, we did the balls first, and then we came up with the music.
81. My biggest problem right now, I'm on the schedule now for a minute. For a minute. They put the wrong app in my bike because let me tell you the wrong app. It's the wrong app because it blew the speakers. You know?
Oh,
No, it wasn't the dog. It wasn't the it was a thumb. It was a thumb.
And blame it on Black. Don't be scared of it. Turn it up. You know, so now I'm still waiting to get back in to the layout whenever he get a chance.
Pastor, I'm looking for the day, man. I'm telling you, next year at the Blackout or whatever, man, you need to get in the sound competition. I guarantee you're gonna win with Fred Hammond. They're gonna get in the sound competition, man. You gonna win. You ain't gotta bust no R&B, man. You let me tell you something. I was busting rap, Jack, and my man over told me, you said you ain't gonna win with all that.
Yeah.
Cause we want to hear them.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, get in there with some Shirley Caesar, you're gonna kill him.
All right.
Get in there with some. I told this dude here.
You gotta get me in.
Hey, D, this is a true story. I told him the next time I get in the sound competition, I'm playing Clark Sisters. You Brought the Sunshine. You know how that song started off?
Yeah.
Nothing but drum. Bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna kill it, baby. I'm gonna kill it. Now, I'm gonna kill it, baby. But anyway, man, it's been great. Pastor, it's been a pleasure having you here, man. Now I don't know what else you read to the other podcast. Tell me you read. They put you.
It ain't no thing,
Right?
because at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But it wasn't nothing like I'm ashamed of,
Right.
blasphemy. But it just here you real comfortable on this white couch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is what it is over here.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? And when you with genuine people, let me just say this. So can I say this?
You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Facebook land, let me say this to you, those of you who are still tuned in. You know, when you get in the presence of solid people, appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate both of these brothers because I can honestly say they my brothers from another brother, another mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, they have not allowed what somebody else may have thought about determine our friendship.
Oh no.
Because see, let me tell you something. You're gonna always have people who will say, I'm talking to somebody out there. You're gonna always have people who talk about you. But all you gotta do is sit back and watch. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to tell what was real and what was fake. And on that note, may God bless you. May God keep you. Have a powerful, peaceful, and productive week. We end every one of our first services with a declaration.
Let's do it.
And it's simply this: God's got it.
God's got it.
I want it.
I want it.
By my faith
By my faith
and my works,
and my works,
I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get it.
After I get it,
After I get it,
I'll tell the world.
I'll tell the world.
God had it.
God had it.
I wanted it.
I wanted it.
And now I got it.
And now I got
Shalom and blessings. Y'all be blessed.
This is your boy Deesky the Great, your boy Backdraft of the Magnesium. Now, special guest Pastor Flo right here on In Our Opinion Podcast. We back, y'all. We back. Hey, if you want to do more than that, go to Winwood Fellowship, the Empowerment Center, 2200 South Zane. What's the worst of it?
Where God is always
Where
doing
God is always doing his thing. Services started at 11 o'clock.
It's the Sunday brunch. We're going to have you out by lunch. And, and those of you who are in need right now, you might feel like, man, I need to be baptized. Yeah. Easter Sunday, we're having a community baptism. You know what I'm saying? If God has placed on your heart that you want to get closer to God and you want to get dipped, you feel like you need to be dipped, come on by on Easter Sunday.
There's not going to just have a water hose in the parking lot.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He got an extra little tub and everything. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about it. They ain't got no water gun. You know, the sprinkler system. You ain't got to worry you do the sprinkler system. You gonna do it for real.
We got you.
But y'all tune in, man, with my boy Deesky the Great, Backdraft of the Magnesium, the Mayor, and also special guest tonight, Pastor Flo. I'm stuttering like a special guest Pastor Flo. In Our Opinion right here and every Wednesday night. Hey, life be lifing. So we'll let you know when we're coming on because it's a good thing. Because my boy Deesky be real busy. I be busy too. But hey, we still in effect. We ain't going nowhere. And if Pastor Flo, if you could do one thing before we leave, that if you see, we cool. If you can close us out with a word of prayer.
Absolutely. Okay. Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus Christ, Lord, I just lift up my two brothers to you right now. Father, as we touch and agree, we know how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Father, we thank you for this podcast. We thank you for this platform because you allow us to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. And then we displaying through our sphere of influence that, Lord, we're standing on what's right. And Lord, we want to just bring our set together. We thank you for those who are tuned in on tonight, those who know that there's a time and a place for everything. But Lord, I just pray for every home that's viewed here tonight. I ask that you will bless them mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Those who may be sick, those who may be going through some challenges, those who have had bike accidents over the course of the last few days, Lord, we just ask that you be with them and comfort them as only you can. And Lord, as one person in particular, Diamond, who went down on her bike last night, Lord, we just pray for her and that you would just continue to heal her body and others who we may not even know who they are. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, and those who agree just simply say amen.
Amen. Peace. We'll see y'all next time, man.
Appreciate it.
Ready, man. That was good.